of your team. The heart of LA, Valley Sports West. The heart of the fan.
It's late in the month of July. High stakes, every game huge. What else would you want? This is Angels Live Pre, presented by Lexus, as your Halos playing the Toronto Blue Jays. Game 2 of a 3-game weekend series. A tough road trip, a tough loss last night. So many opportunities. Lots to get to today for Game 2. Looking to bounce back. Ohtani, he's been battling with some cramps, to say the least. We got good news. We'll also assess Giolito's debut. Pretty darn good. And Erica, we'll talk to Lucas. We'll have that for you coming up. Lucas Giolito is also going to be on the broadcast. He's going to wear a headset in the third inning, I believe, so you want to stay tuned for that. The manager, Bobby Valentine. I'm Patrick O'Neill. It is great to be with you. Shohei Ohtani, he's in the lineup today. You think maybe, Bobby, he's going to get a day off, but no, they wanted Phil Nevin, who is suspended for this game, by the way, for conduct after the game last night. We'll get into that as well, but it's just freakish that Ohtani's back in the lineup. You would think he might need some rest.
Well, you would think that I need some rest because I don't get to sleep at night when I'm thinking he's going to be injured for the rest of the year. It's been 2 nights in a row. So I'm the one who needs some sleep, not him, that's for sure. But it's good to see him in the lineup, and he knows his body as well as anyone, and there's a great training staff who's giving advice. I guess he's good to go.
Yeah, I know the stress that you're feeling when you're thinking that Ohtani. I would just recommend some melatonin.
Thank you very much.
Might just
I need some of that. I need some
ease things going into today. But yeah, it's great news that he's in. So he homered in the first at bat yesterday, the only offense for the Halos. So that means 3 straight swings, 3 straight at bats, 3 home runs in 2 different countries.
I like the 2 different countries. Yes, he's transcending all borders and all lines of demarcation, because he's setting his new boundaries on what can be done on a baseball field. This is first pitch, fastball, deposited. Yeah, it was only 101 miles an hour off the bat, but it sure did go far. And, you know, the ball travels really well in this dome at this time of the year, even though the dome was open. And look for more home runs today.
Matt Chapman, he's the third baseman, but he's got a word for the manager here, saying basically, why are you pitching to him?
Oh, yeah, give him another hat. He wants to manage, too. I think he has enough to do fielding and hitting, but you know, things are heating up a little, Patrick. It's just that time of the year.
Yes, interesting for those, I would say 99.9% of us were able to lip read there. Bulletin board material, perhaps.
Yeah.
It's the big leagues, though. Nobody's on the other side thinking, oh, he says we can't hit, we'll show him, or?
Well, actually, what he said, what are you doing pitching to Ohtani? He's the only guy in the lineup go hit the blanking ball. Oh, really? Well, there might be a Moustakis or a Ward or someone who heard what he said, either during the game or after, and would take exception to it.
You know what? Yeah, you're right. And use that. Why not for this game? It's huge. Here is the lineup, and it is Shohei Ohtani back in there. However, Zach Neto's still not ready, and he's saying it's still a little tight, that lower back, so not ready to go. So Rengifo will lead off. Ohtani, Taylor Ward, Moustakis, Theis, Renfroe, Escobar, and Stefanik, who was the one that got rung up to, you know, he was pinch hitting for Ohtani with the bases loaded. That's that worry that you're thinking about. And Phil Nevin did not like that. Had to be restrained. That's why he got that suspension.
Yeah, I guess it was after the game. He took exception to the calls, and the calls were biased to the other side, coincidentally, and a bases-loaded walk turned into a strikeout in a very close game. The manager got a little hot, and consequently, he got a little suspension.
A little hot. So there it is. Listen, it's outside. It's close. And Phil Nevin is absolutely heated. That would have made it 4-2, would have turned it over to the next batter, and would have given Angels an opportunity to possibly tie this game up. That's a 1-game suspension? I don't know.
I don't know what he said, or, you know, what contact or close to contact there was, but we're getting really touchy on this stuff.
Bichette. This is Christopher Russo, and this is the High Heat Hot Seat. Bo Bichette plays hard, so he doesn't end up here. High Heat with Christopher Russo, helping players.
Velasquez key error, that could have been a double play, could have got out of that 6. Well, what did you make of his debut?
I liked everything I saw. You know, that's what Lucas Giolito does. He throws strikes, he has a great changeup, and often, or sometimes, the strikes are not located perfectly. And if that happens, they're really pretty easy pitches to hit because they're not with great movement or great velocity. But he's a pitcher who can throw that fastball often where he wants to throw it, and that's not the place he wants to throw it, and can mix it with a terrific changeup. Yesterday, his curveball was working also, and that helped things along. You know, 70-plus innings, here you see the changeup. Hitters way out in front of that changeup. Twice you saw it. That's an effective pitch, very effective pitch at this level.
Listen, he is right in this rotation. Certainly is going to pay huge dividends for the Angels, who are 9-13 since the All-Star break, despite the loss last night, one of the best records in all of baseball. And Lucas Giolito, a new member of the Halo, spoke to our Erica Weston.
Guys, thanks very much. Lucas, first game last night, the new threads. I know you were looking forward to this. We're happy to have you here, but can you just go back the last couple of weeks, what things have been like, how when your name was out there, the possibility that you might be moved, and now here you are sporting a new uniform?
Yeah, I mean, the last couple of weeks, it was getting to that point where, like, I knew I was going to get moved. I just didn't know where. Obviously, talking to my agent and having my eye on Twitter, seeing what all the writers were saying, things like that. I knew that there were a few teams in the mix. I heard nothing about the Angels at all. And then, yeah, that night, a couple nights ago, after the game, I remember I was trying to get out of the clubhouse. I had some stuff to do that night, and I took a shower. I get out of the shower. I come into the clubhouse, and I see Ronaldo, like, giving guys hugs and stuff. I'm like, oh my God, they traded Ronaldo. I go up to him and I'm like, dude, you got traded. Like, you know, where are you going? What's happening? So I'm going to the Angels, bro. I'm like, oh my God, you know, this is gonna be like the first time we're not teammates ever in our career. Like, we came up together with the Nationals, White Sox, our entire career, like, hit every level together. And, you know, we shared a moment. I go and get dressed. I put my shirt on, I turn around, and there's our assistant GM. He's like, it's time. I'm like, oh my God. Going to the office, and boom, I was part of the same trade to the Angels. And, you know, it was like, you know, almost like kind of shocking. If it was one of the teams that I knew was kind of like in that mix, I would have been like, okay, you know, makes sense. But, you know, I guess Perry was kind of working some magic behind the scenes, and I'm very excited to be here, you know, be a part of something, you know, this big playoff push we got going on.
It's so funny, the story with you and Ronaldo Lopez, traded twice together at the same time, from the Nats to Chicago, now from Chicago to the Angels. That's so weird in terms of, like, quirks as far as trades go. I think it's only happened one other time, but I mean, how do you feel about, again, being traded along with your buddy who's been with you this whole time?
Oh, it's great. You know, I've had, like I said, I've had a very, very close friend with me along the way, you know, through this, like, crazy life and career that we've had. Yeah, it's great. You know, if I came over here alone, I'd probably feel a little bit more like an outsider, like the new kid in class. But being able to have him, we're able to kind of come in. But, you know, the team, the players, staff, everybody involved in the organization has been so welcoming, been so nice and kind early on here, and I'm just looking forward to getting to know everybody better and, you know, really be a part of this team.
They're excited to have you. One more question, because I know you're going on with the guys tonight during the ball game, but I'm sure you've seen the screenshot of you sitting next to Shohei last night after the home run. The caption basically just glad to have him on your side now. Thoughts after seeing it and, you know, how everything transpired last night?
Yeah, that's exactly right. Glad to have him on my side. You know, I've admired what he's done ever since he got to the league for years. I did not enjoy pitching against him. If you look at his numbers against me, you'll see why. But yeah, I mean, what he does is just unbelievable. It's, you know, out of this world. And now being able to, you know, be his teammate and be able to witness it up close on the same side for this period of time. Like I said earlier, while we're making, every single game is so important. It's like that playoff atmosphere. It's really, really cool.
Lucas, thanks for the time. We're glad to have you here.
Yeah, absolutely. No problem.
All right, guys.
No problem whatsoever. Yeah, welcome to the Halos. Good interview there, Erica. And again, Lucas is going to be mic'd up. He's going to have headset on during the broadcast, third inning. So stay tuned for that. What do you make of the interview and what he had to say?
Oh, really insightful. I loved it. You hear that he was the last to find out, huh? Everybody else knew. And then they told him. I remember going out to the dugout one time with my lineup card and passing 3 players in the clubhouse who said, hey, why am I in the lineup? I got traded today. Yeah, that happened in Boston. But you saw that. And then, the idea of new kid in the classroom. You know how that feels possibly, or if the new kid came into your classroom, how you feel. And that's what's happening here with these 2 new guys. You just think you give them a uniform and now they're part of the group. No, the group has to accept them and they have to accept the group. So that's a fun thing. And I really like the fact that he said he didn't like pitching against Ohtani.
Yeah, and it is a great photo of the 2 of them for sure. Sounds like you were the last to know that in Boston about who got traded. Listen, we'll take a break. We're just getting rolling here. It's a fun day, a great afternoon for Angels baseball in Toronto, where they have great success, by the way, tremendous numbers at the Sky Dome. But we're going to focus on a Gooby history lesson. Are we going to show it to you? Yes, we can.
How can anyone love a cat more than a...
Sunday, from Atlanta's truest park, a diverse roster of high school players look to take their game to the next level. The Hank Aaron Invitational Showcase Game, powered by the MLB MLBPA Youth Development Foundation. Sunday at 8 Eastern on MLB Network.
Live pregame show, which is presented by your Southern California Lexus dealers. Experience amazing. Reid Detmers takes the ball for your Halos, looking for his first win on the road this season. But right now, we want to get you locked in with 1979. And this is the first Angels team to make the playoffs. And Don Baylor was huge in this team. Dave Frost, Nolan Ryan, each winning 16 games, and they led baseball in runs scored. But for Don Baylor, first Halo to be named an AL MVP. Groove was absolutely locked in. It is time now for a Goobies Halo history lesson. Can we show it to you? Yes, we can.
Angel fans, do you remember Don Baylor, 1979? Let's go back in time right now. This is Gooby's Halo history lesson. Let's set the stage. 1979, a historic season in Halo history. An 88-74 record posted by the Halos and their first division title. That Halo team hit a whopping .282 and led all teams in baseball in runs scored and RBIs. With a cast of stars like Carney Lansford, Dan Ford, Brian Downing, and Rod Carew, our left fielder Don Baylor found his groove. Baylor was a catalyst who constantly came through with runners in scoring position. He finished the season leading the major leagues with 139 RBIs and 120 runs scored. And those 139 RBIs are still a franchise record to this day. Don also led the team with 22 stolen bases that season, a fierce competitor who cherished the opportunity to shine in the spotlight. That year, Baylor made the All-Star team for the only time in his career and was the first Angel to win the MVP, receiving 20 of the 28 first-place votes. When Don left the Angels in 1982, his former teammate Tommy John said, "When we lost him, we lost our guts." Pitchers feared Don Baylor. If you didn't know, now you know. That's Gooby's Halo History Lesson.
Well done, Gooby, and congrats to Mark Gubaza, just named the best analyst by the SCSB, Southern California Sports Broadcasters. Gooby, thank you so much for the great work that you do. Bobby V, you might have been in part of that highlight, playing with the Mariners in 1979, so you got to see Don Baylor that season. You managed against him as a player. You managed against him as a manager, and he's really missed. I love Don Baylor. He was such a great person, and what a player he was.
Oh, what a player. And no one went into second base harder than Don Baylor. Every time he went into second base, he got me a few times. No one stood closer to the plate than Don Baylor, and his arms were bigger than the bat that he was holding, and no pitcher ever wanted to throw inside to him. He was as intimidating a force at the plate as anybody who's ever lived in this MVP season. He was fantastic.
When you were managing, did you ever ask the pitcher to maybe to brush him back just a little bit? Just, you know.
Actually, once Oil Can Boyd beamed the catcher Don Slaught. As we were carrying Don Slaught out, I said, "Sluggo, what do you want me to do?" He says, "Hit the first guy up." It was Don Baylor.
You
and he took it, walked out to first base and said, "It's cool."
Yeah, you added to the total because nobody was hit more, but Don Baylor, absolute best. That was fun. All right, we'll take a break, continue to get you set. It's a Reid Detmers versus Alek Manoah matchup. Detmers needs to be better on the road. Alek Manoah just flat out needs to be better. What's going on with him? But it is Detmers' time to shine. Biggest game of the year, biggest start of the year for Detmers.
I'ma do what? That's on me. Young boy, but I keep it OG. No, you can't shine if you stay low key. That's on me, on me, on me. I'ma do what? That's on me. Young boy, but I keep it OG. No, you can't shine if you stay low key. That's on me, on me, on me. Didn't want that side, but that's on me. Built the house, I got the keys. They say you can't shine if you stay low key. That's on me, on me.
Watch games and coverage all day, every day, your way on MLB Network.
California Lexus dealers experience amazing. And if you've never experienced a baseball game in Toronto, check it out. Rogers Center, roof open. Toronto's a great city. Put it on the bucket list. Angels, Blue Jays coming up with Bobby Valentine and Patrick O'Neill. Let's talk Reid Detmers. On the road, 0-4, ERA 5.71. He's much better at home with a 3.63 home ERA. What's most important for him today?
Well, I think he should strike out less players. and put more balls in play. You know, he's striking out too many guys, throwing too many pitches in those long counts that often it takes to get the strikeout. And hopefully he'll have that changeup working that has been useful for him in the past and have some balls put in play early in the count. I think his stuff is terrific. I think his competitiveness is outstanding. His pitch count during the game and during innings is the thing that's gotten him in trouble.
Yeah, when he had that no-hitter, only had 2 strikeouts, but I bet you there are fans that are thinking, strike out less guys? What?
Yeah, it's not great for the stat sheet, but it'd be great for his ability to go longer in the game and be around when the team comes back to win some games, if that's what we're looking for out of Reid Detmers.
Definitely looking for a huge start, big game, you know, 4 back in that wild card, chasing the Toronto Blue Jays. So Reid Detmers has the baseball today, and the lefty is looking for something great. It's going to be very, very exciting. Can't wait. Alek Manoah, meanwhile, on the other side for Toronto, here's a Cy Young finalist a year ago. Remember that matchup with Shohei Ohtani? They dueled in Toronto last season. He's great, but this season, he's fallen off the cliff. He got sent down. He's got 51 walks. What the heck's going on?
Yeah, I think he's suffering from the Big Bang theory. You know, he's had so many balls in the zone that have created this loud noise that he's decided to throw the ball out of the zone, and his control has just left him. He's walking too many people, mainly because his stuff has not been major league quality, and when it goes over the plate, it gets hit really hard.
I've seen him do this before, specifically last year when I was there. He warms up with the football.
Yeah, Texas Rangers, 1986 first team to ever do that. It's actually to make sure that your shoulder is good enough. If you throw a spiral, you're getting your elbow up parallel with the ground, and then your shoulder is strong enough to lift that football up. Hey, you're probably good enough to go.
1986, you were managing a very young manager, right, of the Texas Rangers. You brought a football. How did that come about?
It went over real big. It was in Texas. What the heck? They didn't even know what baseball was in '86. So, oh yeah, we got a football game, honey. And it didn't go over. It was, they said, the dumbest thing that ever happened. And, you know, then they saw Nolan Ryan doing it before a no-hitter. He said, maybe this is a good idea.
Pretty darn good football player right here. Look up his stats in Stamford, Connecticut. All right, we'll take a break. Was supposed to, you know, follow O.J. Simpson at SC as the tailback, but the Dodgers said, we got an offer for you. And so you went to baseball. We'll take a break. Come back. Mickey Moniak, 18-game hitting streak. Only 44 to go to tie Jody. That's still pretty good. We'll be right back.
It's like that.
Got him. It stays fair.
Everybody feel it, come around with the rhythm, it's a sound. Everybody get down when we bring it to you. It's like that.
Imagine an entire channel dedicated to taking you to the most exciting moments in baseball as they happen.
And it's gone!
With live look-ins to clutch at bats
A walk-off slam!
and players on the edge of making history.
This could be it! 62!
It's the best seat in the house at every ballpark. All commercial-free.
Can you believe it?
MLB Network Strike Zone. Wednesdays and Fridays, all season long. Sunday, from Atlanta's truest park, a diverse roster of high school players look to take their game to the next level. The Hank Aaron Invitational Showcase Game, powered by the MLBPA Youth Development Foundation. Sunday at 8 Eastern on MLB Network.
Jays, a little Saturday afternoon baseball. You got the cool, refreshing beverages, and you got the spread all laid out, and you're going to watch a great ball game. And Shohei Ohtani is back in the lineup despite being pinch hit for in the ninth with the bases loaded. Go figure, but the guy is an absolute machine with Bobby Valentine. Let's talk about Mickey Moniak, an 18-game hit streak. I misspoke. It would be 38 to tie Joe DiMaggio. He's got 18. It's hard to do. It really is.
Oh, yeah, hit streaks are hard, but to do what Mickey's doing this year at the Major League is hard. Understand, this is the best he's ever played in professional baseball, and he's doing it at the Major League level, and the reason he's doing it because he's made adjustments. He came here as a free swinger who would chase anything out of the zone, who could only hit a fastball. He's developed into a hitter who can take a breaking ball and hit a breaking ball. If it's bad, it's in the dirt, he's been taking it, and when it's hanging, he's banging it. Mickey Moniak right now is establishing himself as a true Major League starting player and giving a good cred to a number one.
Love it. Absolutely love what you have to say there. Got hitting 368, slugging over 950 during this hitting streak. That is pretty darn good. Okay, so the big news is Shohei is in the lineup. Phil Nevin suspended one game for actions after last night's game, not liking the call against Stefanik, and Neto is not in the lineup. Still that AL wildcard race, Bobby, very, very tight. This is an exciting time in baseball.
Oh, it's really exciting. And to see a manager be a little heated because he knows he's in this mix and it's 4 back, and 4 back in the loss column, doesn't like losses. So he was emotionally upset after the game yesterday, serving a 1-day suspension. And here comes the Blue Jays lineup. But Patrick, I just wanted to say, if the Angels win this game, it goes on Ray Montgomery's record. So Phil won't win his 101st game today.
Okay, congrats, by the way, to Phil Nevin, though. Winning 100 doesn't get to play an opportunity in the next game, but that happened after that sweep in Detroit. All right, final thoughts, most important as Shohei is getting ready for this one.
Yes, keep him healthy and get some early outs and counts against these right-handed hitters of Toronto.
All right, looking forward to this one. Bobby V, great job. We'll see you for post-game. We're stepping aside. First pitch coming up.
Hey kids, join MLB Network and your favorite players for a show made just for you. Play ball. It's all the big moments, bat flips, and amazing plays from an exciting week of baseball and tips to up your game on MLB Network.
Baseball.
There's something that's been missing in the debate.
Think analysis.
He really looked like the perfect thing to add to this club last night.
Think advanced metrics.
The new rules are having an impact, and I'll bottom line it.
Think MLB Now, the show for the thinking fan, only on MLB Network.
The heart of your team. The heart of LA. Valley Sports West. The heart of the fan.
Overlooking the beautiful city of Toronto. Today, game 2 of a 3-game series, an important one between the Los Angeles Angels and the Toronto Blue Jays. Wild card standings in the American League. The importance to the Angels to win this series, gain some ground on the Blue Jays and the Astros, 2 of the 3 teams in the wild card positions right now in the American League. And the Angels can also have a tiebreaker over Toronto if they do win this series. We welcome you inside Rogers Center alongside Mark Gubas. I'm Wayne Randazzo, and Gubi, as Shohei Ohtani made his way to Canada. He put on a show right away yesterday.
It's incredible. He had 2 home runs here in Detroit, and what they do is first at bat, he homers here in Toronto. When you look at his career numbers here, really good for Shohei Ohtani. 317 batting average with 3 home runs, and that baseball got out in a hurry. Number 39. 3 straight plate appearances with a home run for Shohei Ohtani. Eventually left the game with leg cramps, but he's back in the lineup today. Hopefully he'll put up some big-time numbers and a chance to win this game.
It started well for the Angels yesterday. Shohei with that home run in the first inning, but as you said, he left the game with leg cramps and couldn't take his at-bat in the 9th inning with the bases loaded. Instead, Michael Stefanik came up as a pinch hitter, and Stefanik would strike out looking on a pitch against Jordan Romano that seemed to be a little bit off the outside corner. As we take a look at Romano's strike 3 call to Stefanik. Phil Nevin irate about that call and several others over the course of the night. And as Phil Nevin had his say with Mike Estabrook afterward, he's now suspended for his actions today.
Well, the thing, he's protecting his teammates there. And it's a big game for the Angels and obviously the Blue Jays, the same thing. But Stefanik, who knows the strike zone very, very well. Even Phil Nevin said the same thing after the game. One thing about Stefanik, he knows the strike zone well. He felt that ball was off the corner. Even with the movement, bringing that back in the zone gives you the appearance that it was out of the zone.
So the Angels will try to get it back today against the Blue Jays. Reid Detmers on the mound in the middle game of this 3-game series against Alek Manoah for Toronto. Shohei is back in the lineup today. Maybe Matt Chapman will ask the Blue Jays to pitch around him this afternoon. It's game 2 of this 3-game series.
You want highlights? Quick Pitch has you covered, packing all today's biggest plays into one lightning-fast hour.
What a play!
We live today, preview tomorrow on Quick Pitch. Late nights and every morning, only on MLB Network. You want highlights? Quick Pitch has you covered.
Things are heating up.
Packing all today's biggest plays into one lightning-fast hour.
Oh my goodness! What a play!
Every game. Every night.
Swing and a miss!
Every highlight that makes the headlines.
Are you kidding me?
We live today, preview tomorrow.
The quickest way to catch up on all the action? We've got you covered.
On Quick Pitch. Late nights and early mornings, only on MLB Network.
We got breaking news.
Wall-to-wall breaking news. The Dodgers get Machado.
It's that time of year
They're the best offense.
where teams make their move.
We are the epicenter of the trade deadline.
The 2023 MLB Trade Deadline Special, Tuesday, 1 Eastern.
To you by Hyundai, it's your journey on every mile in a brand new Hyundai. By the OC Healthcare Agency, build your healthiest self at angels.ocnavigator.org. And by your local Southern California Cadillac dealers. Toronto, Ontario, Canada. What a city this is, and we are inside Rogers Centre, for a long time known as Skydome. This place changing for the better, too, as they made some improvements over the last offseason and will make even more this offseason as the home of the Toronto Blue Jays, a really good ball club. The Angels hoping to contend with them for a wild card spot. Right now, the Angels 4 back. If they win this series, they will likely have the tiebreaker over the Blue Jays. And Gooby, there's your guy, Geddy Lee, in the house.
Lee, it's his birthday today. I think he's probably just 29 or maybe 39, but we won't.
It says 70 right there.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know how true that is. I'm still sticking with 39. Jack Benny right there. But he's the best. I'll tell you what. Unbelievable. Hall of Famer. One of the greatest concerts you will ever see. Geddy Lee in the house. It's a limelight. He's in the limelight right now.
Yeah, absolutely. It is a Toronto staple here at Rogers Centre. Geddy Lee taking in the Blue Jays and the Angels. What else would you want to do on your birthday but come and check out a ball game? Two of the best teams in the American League. A spirited ball game here last night. The Blue Jays winning 4-1. The Angels really squandered some opportunities toward the end of the night. Left 8 men on base over the last 3 innings. So they'll try to get it back today as we bring you the Angels lineup, brought to you by Tustin Buick GMC. As Zach Neto once again not in the lineup, as Neto continues to experience back tightness. Is feeling better today. Shohei is in there after leaving yesterday's game with cramps. He did not take the at-bat in the 9th inning with the bases loaded. Michael Stefanik did instead. Stefanik in the lineup too today, playing second base, but Ohtani feeling good enough to play, trying to get over this cramping that has bothered him over the last couple of days. And Mickey Moniak with his 18-game hitting streak in there, batting third, as the Blue Jays take the field behind their big burly right-hander, an all-star last year. Alek Manoah has really struggled this year.
Yeah, he has. I mean, he was one of the best pitchers in all of baseball. He mentioned an all-star last year. He had that great time at the all-star game when he was mic'd up for that game last season. But so far this year, though, ERA over 6 in 16 starting, in a whip at 1.80. My go-tos for the Angels to continue the struggles for Alek Manoah here today is you got to be in position to power his four-seam fastball. A .310 batting average, slugging .595 with 6 home runs versus four-seamer. And patience at the plate. You got to bring him in the zone. He has 51 walks and 72 in the 3rd innings pitch.
He has walked 31 hitters in 30 innings here at Rogers Centre. His ERA is 9 in his home ballpark this year. He's 0-5 in this building. So Manoah's struggles have been even on a larger scale here in Toronto, as Manoah is really fighting for a spot in the starting rotation. Hyun-Jin Ryu is coming back to the Blue Jays on Tuesday. So the plan right now for Toronto is to have a 6-man rotation. However, if they decide to go back to 5 at some point, which you figure they will toward the end, right now Manoah would be the odd man out.
And that's surprising. He was coming into the season, you were thinking he was your ace of your staff, especially when you look what he did last season, 3rd in Cy Young voting. The defense behind Alek Manoah today. Kiermaier out in center field is an outstanding defender. 3-time Gold Glove winner. He's really solidified their defense. Murfield out in left. Springer in right. Chapman, Bichette, Spinall, and Vlad Jr. at first base. And Alejandro Kirk behind the plate for Alek Manoah.
And Kirk has been very good behind the plate in some spaces. This is a very good Toronto defense, especially with that guy, Kevin Kiermaier, in center field. Matt Chapman, who's won some Gold Gloves at 3rd base. And there's Ray Montgomery. He is the acting manager today, as Phil Nevin is suspended 1 game for his outburst toward home plate umpire Mike Estabrook. But you could certainly understand where Phil was coming from. There were many missed calls outside the strike zone yesterday from Mike Estabrook, and one that really impacted the end of the game, especially when Stefanik struck out on a 3-2 pitch that was off the outside corner. So certainly you can understand where Phil Nevin was coming from. He's suspended today, and here's Luis Rengifo to get things going in front of what is supposed to be a sold-out crowd once again here in Toronto.
He really gets the fans energized. Manoah, when he goes up, it was routine behind the mound, and he gets back up on that pitching rubber.
You know, they want to like Alek Manoah and they want to cheer for Alek Manoah. It hasn't always been the case the way things have gone this year.
That's a little bit off the plate already.
Andy Fletcher's the home plate umpire today. He's the crew chief. 1 ball, 1 strike, and with Manoah's struggles with his control, we'll see how that goes today. He's ahead of Rengifo. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
And his fastball down a little bit velocity-wise, about 1 mile per hour from this season to last season. Also will throw his slider and a changeup.
Asked John Snyder yesterday if it was a pitch timer issue with Manoah trying to get used to that. They said they thought so at first, but they think it's really just his delivery. His work to clean it up. Believes he is in a better place with his delivery right now. You know, for about a month he was in the minor leagues. They optioned him down there and really sent him to Florida to get his delivery right. They have a pitching lab in Dunedin, Florida at their spring training facility.
Good battle here for Rengifo. You're seeing some more pitches if you're Shohei Ohtani waiting on deck. He does have a home run in his career, Shohei does, against Alek Manoah. And it was a great battle those two had on the mound last season here at Rogers Center.
You see the great numbers of Manoah last year at .224 ERA, 3rd in Cy Young voting. And he gets that one over the plate. Strike 3 call to Luis Rengifo. So 1 out. Here's Shohei Ohtani. It was certainly mind-numbing to look into the batter's box yesterday, or even in the on-deck circle yesterday in the 9th inning, and not see Shohei. With the game on the line, with Jordan Romano achy and struggling. Shohei, who has answered the bell so many times, does so in such an almost Iron Man type way. This is the Angels' 105th game, and it's the 103rd that Shohei has appeared in while being a two-way player.
Looks like they're going to try to stay inside, stay in fastballs. 92-93 for Alek Manoah so far. And last season, part of his success was it's pretty deceiving how he was able to get that fastball out of his hand and the hitter's not reading it well.
Ohtani slices that one foul. Shohei homered in the 1st inning yesterday, his 39th home run. His next one will make him just the 3rd Angel to have multiple 40-homer seasons, joining Troy Gloss and Mike Trout. You see the list of 40-homer years in Angels history. The single-season record is still 47, and Shohei's coming for that. He's also closing in on Hideki Matsui for the most home runs by a Japanese-born Major League player. It's a piece of Alejandro Kirk, who shakes that one off, and it's still 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Well, that was right in his zone. He just missed that one. Shohei Ohtani on pace this season for 61 home runs.
Kept that pace going with his homer yesterday. Hit 2 in game 2 of the doubleheader on Thursday. The Major League's leader.
Got him in the foot.
And he gets hit by that pitch. So Alek Manoah hoping for a check swing there, but Shohei held up, and he'll head to first after a hit by a pitch, which Manoah led the American League in each of the last 2 years.
Yeah, he looked like he was pointing in there to make sure he didn't think that Shohei Ohtani took a swing at that, but it didn't look like that at all. Still remember there in the All-Star game when John Smoltz was talking to him live. He said, "How about a back foot slider?" And he hit him in the back foot with a slider, just like he did with Shohei.
Well, Manoah struck out 3 hitters in that All-Star inning.
It's always great when those two were together. It was last night too in the game you were doing, Wayne. That was fun to see those two together, Shohei and Vlad Jr.
Those two All-Star teammates and MVP candidates a couple of years ago together. Ohtani beat Vladimir Guerrero Jr. for the 2021 MVP award. Here's Moniak, an 18-game hitting streak. He swings through that fastball from Manoah. And that velocity not quite the same for Alek Manoah. 92 miles an hour on some of these fastballs that he has thrown. Manoah went too far, and he strikes out on the breaking ball. Mike Estabrook, the umpire at third.
See if he ended up going on that one. It looked like he crossed the plate enough to be able to get that check swing call to strike. Obviously, there's still a little bit of a not happy going on with Estabrook there, especially when he was behind the plate last night with some of the batters not real happy with his strike zone.
It seemed to me, watching on the camera yesterday and being here in the ballpark last night, that he kind of instigated some of that with Phil Nevin after the game yesterday, as Mike Estabrook and Phil Nevin had a pretty angry discussion in the Angels dugout leading up into the tunnel. There's always ramifications for the players and the managers and whomever is arguing with the umpires, but there's hardly ever ramifications going back the other way. And in that case, it looked like Mike Estabrook was the one who approached Phil Nevin first.
Yeah. And a lot of times, if you can just walk away from that scenario, then everything could be de-escalated, but that got even crazier.
Phil ended up being restrained and then suspended today as Taylor Ward works against Alek Manoah here. Ward's been swinging the bat pretty well lately, had a couple of hits last night.
And Shohei Ohtani leading the team with stolen bases with 12, but caught 4 times. Alek Manoah has really been susceptible to stolen bases, 13 to 14. But I don't think that's going to happen here with Shohei today, but it's Shohei.
You never know. The light might go on. He just might take off.
Yeah. You would think, okay, to say, okay, the leg cramps, just take it easy today. Don't overextend, but you never know with Shohei. Especially when you have a pitcher that is susceptible to a stolen base.
Another ball in the dirt from Manoah, and it's 3 balls and 2 strikes on Taylor Ward. About to be a 20-pitch first inning here for Alek Manoah. Hasn't gone very deep into games. He's made 16 starts at the major league level this year, and he's only worked through 6 innings 3 times. The walks have been an issue. He's walked 4 or more in 9 of his 16 outings this season. Ward with a late swing strikes out. Manoah almost stumbled off the mound, but he finishes a first inning in which he strikes out 3.
Create amazing work with Fiverr. All you need is your team and a talented freelancer who will lend a hand and seamlessly join your team from just about anywhere. Expand your team with a Fiverr freelancer.
With the Game Time app, I paid 60% less than this guy. What? And it's not just sports tickets. It's also concerts. Performances, too.
Oh, come on!
Download Game Time. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed.
Welcome to the Aura Sleep Lab. You need a bit more deep sleep. Getting enough high-quality sleep increases immunity. Why? Because sleep helps fend off sickness. A good night's sleep boosts your number of infection-fighting antibodies and cells. And with your Aura Ring, you can learn how to sleep deep and keep your immunity up. It's like having a sleep lab on your finger. Go to sleep with auraring.com.
At Warby Parker, we believe in vision for all. Not just in the sense that we offer lots of frame styles and sizes, because we do. Or that we have glasses, sunglasses, contacts, and eye exams. There's also that. But because we believe everyone has the right to see. So for every pair sold, a pair of glasses is distributed to someone in need.
Toronto's batting order, a team that can really hit. Whit Merrifield has been red hot lately. Had 3 hits, including a home run yesterday. Bo Bichette leads the American League in hits. Matt Chapman and Danny Jansen also homered yesterday for Toronto. And George Springer batting 5th, normally the leadoff batter. Yesterday was the first time in over 2 years that Springer had not been number 1 in the order. And he's in that 5 spot again today as Merrifield who produced at the top for Toronto yesterday, leads off against Reid Detmers.
Yeah, the 2-7, but an ERA 4.38, a whip of 1.30 for Reid Detmers. They got an aggressive lineup here of the Blue Jays. They are very aggressive on the first pitch generally, and they've had a lot of success on the first pitch put in play. They have 6 batters in this lineup today, Wayne, with batting averages well over 400 on the first pitch put in play.
Merrifield's average up over 300. He's hit 360 in the month of July. 1 ball, 2 strikes. He was somewhat of a surprising all-star, as Merrifield at that time hadn't really gotten going yet. Now you look at his numbers and it makes sense that he was an all-star, but when he was named initially on the roster, it was just when he was starting to swing the bat.
So good slow curveball, outer half, followed by 94 late on a fastball. Curveball is going to be an important pitch for Reid Detmers today versus this Jays lineup, since he doesn't throw his changeup a whole lot.
Ground ball up the middle. Stefanik gets to it. The off-balance throw in time to get Merrifield. Nice play by Stefanik, crossing over to the left side of the infield.
And a transfer and a quick throw was perfect for Stefanik. My go-tos for Reid Detmers have that big game, which the Angels need here today against this dangerous Jays lineup. Above the zone chases on his 4-seam fastball. Gets quite a few strikeouts this season on that 4-seamer upstairs, and curb their enthusiasm. The curveball is going to be a big pitch for him this game. 167 batting average with 23 strikeouts with his curveball, and that's going to be a quick ground ball out with it.
2 hops off the bat of Bo Bichette, and Luis Rengifo with a strike to Moustakas. So Reid Detmers gets a couple of quick outs on 6 pitches here in the bottom of the first. Bring up Vlad Jr.
How about 2 ground ball outs too for Detmers too. Coming in the game, it's a little over 33% ground ball rate.
And the Angels kind of reconfigured their infield a bit. We've seen Escobar playing first base, but it's not really his most comfortable position. So he's back at third today, and Mike Moustakas is the first baseman instead. Guerrero swings through a fastball from Detmers. Numbers a bit down for Vladimir Jr., especially here at Rogers Center. He's only hit 5 home runs in his home ballpark this season.
Between his slider, which he's taken a little bit more off it for Reid Detmers, anywhere between 85 and 88, even sometimes will be 93. He's also throwing a sweeper, and that was a sweeper there.
2 balls and a strike on Vlad Jr., the home run derby champion this year. And over 70 home runs on that Monday night in Seattle, thrown by his manager, John Schneider.
It's pretty amazing, though. Him and his dad both have won home run derbies at the All-Star game.
Yeah, they're the only father-son duo to do that. There's the skipper for the Blue Jays. Who's been in their system for a long time with various different roles. It's a full count now on Guerrero.
Challenge in the heart of the plate. Just enough right on it upstairs, and a 3-1 count. Fouled it off.
Taps that one foul past Luis Rivera, the third base coach for the Blue Jays. The roof is closed for now. They might open it at some point today. It's been cloudy and rainy all morning and afternoon here in Toronto, but we're expecting the skies to get a little drier as the day wears on, and they could open the roof at some point here today, but we're stuck inside right now.
It's always beautiful when they have that roof open. I anticipate, from my information I got, it'll be open at some point.
Your information, would Geddy Lee give you the weather report?
Yes. Hey, why wouldn't he?
Guerrero fouls another. So Detmers, after 6 pitches to the first 2 hitters, has thrown 8 to Vlad Jr.
Boy, Boy, that last game in Detroit, there was a lot of foul balls. Got a few here today already. Vlad Jr. against Reid Detmers.
This will be the 10th pitch of this at bat coming up. Guerrero grounds it to Rengifo at short. Reid Detmers gets 3 ground balls and a 1-2-3 bottom of the first.
When the details take precedence, the rest falls perfectly into place. We strip away everything but the essential, and what we're left with are thoughtful bedrooms for modern living. Thuma.
Sure, you'll teach her to drive a car, then use Greenlight and teach her to save up for her own car. Mowing lawns and getting paid. Navigate the world of earning, saving, and investing together. Invest in your best investment. Greenlight.
It's all about putting in the work. I prepare the same way for the long haul. Tono gives you all those stats to be able to say, how can I continue to get better? And it starts to challenge you like, okay, you've done this, but now let's challenge you. Let's do this now. It's all about just training your mind, training your body, training your spirit to be as great as you can. Tono, be your strongest.
If sports fans built a streaming service.
What's going on?
I think we found a way to stop fans from destroying their TVs when their teams lose.
How's it work?
Hey, Charlie. Philly lost.
And now it's time for Hyundai Key for the game today. Going, of course, Geddy Lee and Rush closer to the heart against Alek Manoah. That you got to bring him into the heart of the plate, make him throw strikes with those 51 walks we showed earlier. The damage done on that four-seam fastball in the heart of the plate. So bring it closer to the heart and do some damage.
Gotta slap the base, you know?
Yes.
Mike Moustakas leading off the top of the second. Matt Dice and Hunter Renfroe follow against Alek Manoah at 3 strikeouts, no walks in the first inning. Manoah has walked a ton of hitters this year. Moustakas with a bouncing ball. Guerrero knocks it down and from the seat of his pants throws it away.
He didn't realize he had a lot more time to be able to get himself up and make a throw, especially with a big target like that. Alek Manoah, a low throw, and he's upset with himself. He won a Gold Glove last year in the American League.
He is among the worst first basemen in the majors this year in terms of defensive runs saved. And he allows Moustakas to reach to begin the top of the second.
That would not be a comfortable situation, even as strong as Moustakas running down there. If there's a collision with Alek Manoah at first base on that throw.
There's some big bodies. You don't want to see those two getting in the way. A third if you count Guerrero over there at first base. As Matt Dice stands in here and fouls off the first pitch against Alek Manoah. Moustakas is on. The Angels have their leadoff man on base here in the second inning.
I think even though Alek Manoah has struggled this year, he has had some good games against the Angels. So no matter what, you always feel a little more comfortable and confident coming in at 1-1 with a 2.29 ERA for Alek Manoah against the Angels.
Yeah, I mean, he was one of the best pitchers in the American League the last couple of years, even his rookie year in 2021. Manoah with an interesting background, growing up in the Miami area. A father who was abusive and spent some time in jail. Manoah was at West Virginia University and trying to work baseball through a tough upbringing. Moustakas thought about advancing, but Kirk catches up to that, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. And Manoah turned himself into a dominant pitcher in college, barely spent any time in the minor leagues. And when he got to the big leagues, he was automatically good and excellent last year.
He's already using his changeup a lot more in this game there. Fierce competitor.
Dice drives one towards straightaway center field. Kiermaier's back after it. He gets there to make the catch.
Ball was hit well. He didn't quite get that. They'd be able to get the lift on it. They'll backspin as much.
Kiermaier can track down just about anything. He's been the best defensive outfielder in the majors over the last handful of years. And that one held up for him as Kiermaier made the play. Now Hunter Renfroe bats. Renfroe had that big doubleheader on Thursday, 3 hits in each game, something an Angel hadn't done since Torrey Hunter more than a decade ago.
Need him to start providing that power, starting to get hot. So 2 fastballs in a row out of the strike zone for Alek Manoah, and that good swing against a fastball by Matt Thaiss. It's something you can see. Average velocity has gone down this year, but also this fastball has been hit pretty hard, especially his 4-seamer.
He's been barreled a lot. A hard hit rate is way up. You look at his pitch charts, and he's missing the middle of the plate quite often. Misses that one over the middle of the plate, and Hunter Renfroe slaps it up the middle. That's a base hit. So the Angels have their first hit. Now they have a couple of base runners.
That was a good swing right there on a sinker. Another fastball right back up through the middle for Hunter Renfroe.
That brings up Eduardo Escobar. What are you seeing out of Manoah just from his delivery? Does he look fluid to you?
It seems like he's still trying to guide some of his pitches. I know when you struggle, you just kind of you're more apt to not challenge hitters. Even though he did get 3 strikeouts in the first inning, he just doesn't quite have that yet. But you don't want to allow him to build the confidence either. So that was a pretty good pitch to drive.
Marquia player profile on Alek Manoah. Fastball velocity down, not using it as much because it's been hit so much. He's used his slider the most of any pitch that he throws.
That's well above the strike zone there.
Escobar calls time as the count is no balls and 2 strikes. Manoah checks in at 285 pounds. He has lost some weight, and
you can see how high that is above the strike zone. Now, if you're starting to get those pitches, he's going to be tougher to hit throughout the course of this game. If he's getting borderline above zone.
Escobar
forces you to swing it.
Protecting in that spot, up in the zone, away. He was able to at least foul it off.
As a pitcher, if you got an umpire that's calling you some pitches on the outside part of the plate or a little off, you're going to stay there all game long. And as a hitter, you got to expand the strike zone because you don't want to take a pitch. You want to be up there swinging the bat, trying to make contact.
Fly ball. Should be easy for George Springer in right field, and Escobar flies out. So 2 away. The Angels struggled with runners in scoring position yesterday, especially in the later innings. 2 bases loaded chances they did not have come into any runs.
Good contact hitter here, especially if he gets one of those fastballs upstairs for Michael Stefanik.
Stefanik had that strikeout in the 9th inning yesterday on that 3-2 pitch that looked off the plate. There's a strike that's on the plate from Alek Manoah. Stay tuned for the top of the 3rd. We're actually going to have Lucas Giolito joining us on the broadcast via headset from the Angels dugouts. You can meet one of the newest Angels and get introduced to Lucas Giolito right here on the broadcast coming up in a little bit.
It's a nice job by Kirk keeping that slider in front of him.
Kirk has been one of the best blocking catchers in all of baseball this year.
He's tested here already today. And with 2 outs, and Moustakas The runner at second. There's some pretty good arms in the outfield here for the Jays, so it's going to be important to get that secondary lead to get a good jump if Stefanik gets one into the outfield.
Two balls and a strike. Seems like today Manoah's had more confidence in his fastball than his slider.
Even his changeup too. You're right, Wayne. His slider is not. He has not had a feel for that. That's a big pitch for him to be successful.
Said before, that's the pitch he's thrown the most this season. He's hardly thrown it much today, and the times he has, it hasn't been very good. Fastball though has been pretty decent here from Manoah, and Stefanik fouls that one off.
Yeah, this pitch arsenal for Alek Manoah. Let's take a look at our StatCast 3D powered by Google Cloud. What he will throw during the course of the game. Slider at basically 30%, sinker 29, four-seamer at 29%, changeup at 13. See that average fastball. This is a little over 92.7 when you combine the two and four-seam fastballs. Tell you what, he's worked his fastball pretty good in the upper part of the strike zone so far. When he's on his game, he pitches inside very effectively, especially against right-handed batters. Although right-handed batters this season have hit him pretty well. 277 with 5 home runs.
Another 20-pitch inning. This will be the 20th pitch from Manoah here in the second. The slider misses to make it 3-2.
Now this is big now. They're going to be able to move now on a 3-2 and 2 outs.
Luis Rengifo on deck. Not a ton of speed on the bases either, so getting that movement give the Angels a little bit of a head start here. See the outfield configured way over toward right for Stefanik. Springer's almost on the line in right field.
It's almost like David Fletcher-like what they're doing in right field.
He yanks one to the left side. It would be 2-0 easy.
Time, yes. 69% of the time I'll throw a fastball here.
And he misses with ball 4. That was pretty much the same pitch that Stefanik struck out on in the 9th inning yesterday, almost in the same exact spot. That was called a third strike and really got Phil Nevin hyped up and eventually suspended for today. Here comes Pete Walker, the pitching coach for the Blue Jays, after the first walk today issued by Manoah.
Already a big moment in this game for the Angels to be able to get that early lead.
The Angels will look for some runs, and we'll drive around with Hyundai.
It's your journey. Own every mile in the Hyundai Tucson with America's best warranty.
Well, the Angels have a moment here after an error to start the inning. There's been a base hit. There's been a walk. Now the Angels need the big hit.
Rengifo aggressive, always on the first pitch, looking for something in the middle of the plate.
Ball 1 from Alek Manoah. Have to consider the base on balls here. Manoah has walked 32 hitters in 32 innings inside of Rogers Center this year. His whip in home games is 2.38.
That's some serious traffic. That's more than the 101 and a 405.
Rengifo socks one towards center. It's pretty deep. Kiermaier is back at the warning track, makes the catch. Rengifo hit it to the deepest part of the yard, and the Angels can't score in the second.
If you love baseball, you need to watch Baseball's Show of Record, MLB Tonight.
We've got a bunch of games kicking off.
Who gets you ready to start the evening? These guys.
With Harold Reynolds, I'm Adnan Burke. Good to have you with us.
Join Harold and Adnan for a first look at the night's matchups.
Shohei Ohtani. We're going to talk about this guy forever.
First take from the players.
Carl, thanks for joining us, man.
Thanks for having me.
And the first of many breakdowns.
Let's put this in perspective.
Then, as your game night continues, stay tuned for the ultimate late-night baseball party. With live look-ins to the night's biggest moments.
MLB Tonight takes you live inside the park.
The best interviews.
I've never asked a player, you need
need a blanket? It is kind of cold out there.
And cutting-edge analysis from TV's best former players fresh off the field.
Get your hands up.
There's nothing quite like MLB Tonight.
That is awesome.
This one takes the cake.
This is going to be a big deal tonight.
Exactly. You can't top that.
MLB Tonight, every night on MLB Network.
I'ma do what? That's on me. Keep it OG. No, you can't shine if you stay low key. That's on me.
Watch games and coverage all day, every day, your way on MLB Network.
Debut last night. Now, a weird quirk in the trade that brought Giolito and Reynaldo Lopez from the White Sox to the Halos. This is actually the second time the two of them have been traded together to another team. The first time 2016 from the Nationals to the White Sox, and then a couple of days ago coming over from the White Sox to the Halos. Giolito told me that he saw Reynaldo giving hugs in the clubhouse once he found out that Lopez was traded, and was like, oh my gosh, we're not going to be teammates for the first time in our career. We came up together at every level together, until a few moments later when the assistant GM called him into his office and told him he was part of the deal as well. So Giolito said he knew a trade was coming, had no idea it would be to the Halos. He said Perry was working some magic behind the scenes. Now, guys, this has only happened one other time in baseball. Two former Halos also traded twice together, Jansen Junk and Elvis Peguero.
That's right, Elvis Peguero and Jansen Junk were traded to get Andrew Heaney over to the Yankees, and then traded for Hunter Renfroe. So it happened recently, and now it's happened twice in a matter of a couple of years. Teammates being traded together twice.
At least you have some friends when you go to a new team. It makes it a little easier to make that adjustment. By the way, that pitch just before that fastball inside was another strike that should have been called.
Here from Lucas Giolito in the top of the third when the Angels are batting. Meanwhile, here in the bottom of the second, Detmers has gone to a full count on Matt Chapman, who was pretty chapped at his manager yesterday, John Schneider. And that's ball four, so Detmers allows Chapman to reach for the leadoff walk here in the bottom of the second. Cameras catching last night. Chapman questioning the manager on why they would even ever think about pitching to Shohei Ohtani.
In the first inning, to boot.
Yeah. With his ace on the mound, Kevin Gausman, you'd think Matt Chapman would have some confidence in Gausman, although Shohei hit that home run, number 39. As there's a strike to George Springer, who is 0 for his last 24 with men on base. Springer has really struggled over the last couple of weeks, which is why he has been dropped to the number 5 spot in the Blue Jays order. And it was curious to see a player question his manager the way that Chapman did on that home run last night. There's Springer taking ball one. Last night after Shohei hits the home run, Chapman goes back in the dugout and decided to take it upon himself to talk to John Schneider about pitching to Shohei. 2 balls. Well, there's a strike. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Springer.
Yeah, that was that made a bit of about a baseball or baseball and a half off the inside corner on that one.
Maybe 2.5. Danny Jansen on deck as Detmers gets ahead of Springer. Strikes him out on the inside corner. Springer upset with the previous pitch being called a strike, but doesn't really say much to Andy Fletcher. Just heads to the dugout as Detmers gets his first strikeout.
Yeah, that was a harder slider there from Reid Detmers to be able to get that inside part of the plate.
Here's Jansen, who's been red hot, homered yesterday. His 14 home runs now, and a career high 46 runs batted in. Salvador Perez is the only catcher in the American League that has hit more home runs than Jansen has. Pretty good catching tandem between Jansen and Alejandro Kirk.
Yeah, one of the better in all of baseball.
There's a strike as Detmers lands a curveball. It's 1 ball, 1 strike on Jansen.
So far, a pretty good feel for that pitch for Reid Detmers today is his curveball.
Kirk is the man hitting behind Jansen in the order today. As Detmers misses inside there. Rengifo is pulled all the way to the hole between second and third. So some space to the left of second base with Stefanik shaded up the middle. Some space on the right side of the infield as well. 3 balls and 1 strike on Jansen.
Another curveball he threw there. A shot by Theis to keep that in front of him. I already go back to thinking how many games that Matt Theis has caught behind the plate. Last year, made his debut behind the plate, caught a shutout in his first game, so not a lot of time behind the plate, but he's been working a lot this season.
And the Angels think Logan O'Hoppe is working his way back. Batting practice about to start for O'Hoppe, so he's getting there. The Angels do expect to have him at some point again this season.
Well, he was throwing the ball really well today in drills earlier today.
Here's ball 4 from Detmers, so 2 walks in the inning as Chapman goes to second. And Detmers, who doesn't normally fight his control, he has not walked more than 3 hitters in a game this season. He's walked 2 out of the 3 that he's faced so far in this inning. Alejandro Kirk, the batter. Ray Montgomery looks on. He's the acting manager today.
Kirk has rolled into 5 double plays. Reid Detmers has gotten 5 double plays turned behind him and 3 ground ball outs already in the game.
Blue Jays have hit into more double plays than any team in the American League. Springer's hit into 16. Guerrero's hit into 14. Kirk's actually hit into 13.
Looking at the hit by pitch, 13 ground ball double plays.
Bichette's hit into 12, so there's a lot of ground ball double plays off this Blue Jays roster. The most in the American League, and Detmers could use one here. There's a strike, and it's even on Alejandro Kirk.
The thing about Detmers, he does run that 4-seam fastball upstairs a lot. Kirk is pretty good on fastballs up.
Pulled the breaking ball on him there, and Kirk was way out in front, lost a hand off his bat and everything.
Yeah, it looked like uncomfortable on the swing with his hand too. He's going to walk around that batter's box now. Especially after 94 away, then you see him there looking at his hand. It's still a while to get back in there.
So Detmers ahead of Alejandro Kirk. Fights off the high fastball.
Kind of surprised when you see a swing like that, though, on a curveball, you would come right back to that exact same pitch. I think Kirk, as a catcher, was probably thinking the same thing because he got a pretty hittable fastball there, but he's late.
He's off that one, and it's 2-2. Kirk only about 5'8". Signed by the Blue Jays out of the Mexican League back in 2016. It's a fly ball toward the right field line. It is slicing toward foul territory, and it lands foul. Good job by Renfroe to close in on that, as he ran a long way even to get close, and he at least covered fair ground before that ball dropped in foul territory.
And just kept drifting, and you were just thinking, okay, hopefully that's going to go foul. It's going to be a tough play.
As long as you can cover the line, that's the most important part. And Renfroe was at least able to do that. So still 2-2 on Kirk. Detmers has walked 2 in the inning. He has struck out 1. He's gone to a full count again. It's 3-2 on Alejandro Kirk. Santiago Espinal, the number 8 batter, on deck. There's strike 3 call. Detmers just burns the fastball over the inner half.
Felt like he was a little quicker on his delivery on that one, too. I think he threw his timing off on that one. Wasn't quite ready to pull the trigger on that fastball.
Another big out for Detmers, another strikeout. He's had 2 in the inning to go with the 2 walks. And now Santiago Espinal, a man who doesn't really walk or strike out, will stand in here with 2 down. First pitch curveball lands from Detmers. Detmers has faced the Blue Jays here in Toronto 1 time before. It was last year. Detmers worked 5 1/3 innings without giving up an earned run. Swing and a miss by Espinal. The Angels actually swept their series here in Toronto last year. And last night was the first time the Angels lost a game inside Rogers Center since 2019.
It's one of those swings too, Wayne, when he lost the handle of that. Kind of slipped off the bat.
He's taking an extra moment here. The Angels have won 20 of their last 28 on the road against the Blue Jays.
They weren't real happy the music was still being played when the pitch was about ready to be thrown.
Check swing, strike 3. Reid Detmers works around a couple walks in the second. He strikes out 3 in the inning. Lucas Giolito will join us on the broadcast in the top of the 3rd.
You want highlights? Quick Pitch has you covered, packing all today's biggest plays into one lightning fast hour.
What a play!
We live today, preview tomorrow on Quick Pitch. Late nights and every morning, only on MLB Network.
I'ma do what? That's on me. I'm a young boy, but I'll keep it OG. No, you can't shine if you stay low key. That's on me, on me, on me. I'ma do what? That's on me. I'm a young boy, but I'll keep it OG. No, you can't shine if you stay low key. That's on me, on me, on me. Didn't want that same, but that's on me. Built the house, I got the keys. They say you can't shine if you stay low key. That's on me, on me.
Watch games and coverage all day, every day, your way on MLB Network.
Shohei Ohtani will lead off the top of the 3rd for the Angels against the Blue Jays here at Rogers Center. We're pleased to be joined by one of the newest Angels. Joining us from the dugout is Lucas Giolito. Hi, Lucas.
How's it going?
Did you get to watch Shohei Ohtani?
Yeah, I was going to say, you got to
right
see
away.
Shohei give you a run right away yesterday.
Yeah, that was a pretty cool experience, not going to lie. Especially considering what he did the day before.
Wait for the pitch here as Ohtani fouls one off. Lucas, I think Angels fans want to know, where'd you get that perfect angel red glove that you wore in your debut last night?
Yeah, so that's the White Sox Sunday 83, 84 throwback jersey. The like V-neck that's like red, white, and blue, navy blue.
Yep.
So that's the glove I always wore smoked that.
Yeah, smoked it into the alley in right center field. Springer dives to cut it off. Ohtani trying for second base as he's in there. And it's a leadoff double for Shohei.
Boy, it's amazing just to watch him swing the bat. Aren't you glad you don't have to face him anymore?
Yeah. Well, yeah, you know, earlier this year I already faced the Angels twice. Once at home. That didn't go too well for me against him. I think he hit 2 homers, 1 or 2 homers off me. And then the next start in Anaheim, let off his first at bat with a triple down the line. I'm like, oh God, here we go. But yeah, I mean, what he does is unbelievable. Everybody knows it. And it's just really cool to be a part of it now. Well,
yeah, Luke, so I was just going to ask you that. You just pitched yesterday. Can you imagine going out there trying to swing the bat and run around the bases after you start a game that night before? I mean, it feels like it would be impossible.
Yeah, no, that's not for me. My high school coach took the bat out of my hands when I was like a sophomore or junior. Yeah, pitcher-only life.
Yeah, that was Harvard Westlake High School.
Yeah.
And Lucas, what's it like to be back in your home area? Because you haven't been back quite yet. The team hasn't been at home, but what's your expectation of playing for a hometown team?
It's going to be a lot of fun. You know, growing up in California, in Southern California, I dreamed of playing MLB baseball in Southern California, and now that dream's becoming a reality. You know, after this series and then Atlanta, go back, get settled in. It's going to be a ton of fun.
Mickey Moniak strikes out, and now Taylor Ward is the batter with Shohei at second after his leadoff double.
We'll scratch one across here.
Ward sends one toward right center field. Hit pretty well. Springer is back and has room on the warning track. Shohei advances to third as Ward flies out. Lucas, what was the preparation like for you to be traded and then just 2 days later have to pitch for your new team and go up against this Blue Jay lineup?
Well, I was already scheduled to start yesterday, so all my preparation leading in was pretty standard. But then obviously after the trade happened, that next day was spent packing a lot of stuff, getting my car ready to get shipped out, and you know, getting all the things I needed for this road trip. And so I wasn't able to do all the stuff I like to do on my day 4. But, you know, that's how it is. You got to adapt sometimes. Now I'm here, having a lot of fun.
All right, Lucas, we're happy that you're here. Thanks a lot for joining us.
Yeah, appreciate it, guys.
It's like that. Got it, but stays fair. Everybody feel it, come around with the rhythm, it's a sound. Everybody get down when we bring it to you. It's like that.
You want highlights? Quick Pitch has you covered. Packing all today's biggest plays into one lightning-fast hour.
What a play!
We live today, preview tomorrow on Quick Pitch. Late nights and every morning, only on MLB Network.
Friday, August 4th, the Angels take on the Mariners at 6:30. The first 25,000 fans will receive a Trout duffel bag courtesy of SoCal Gas. Visit angels.com/promotions for more info.
Feels like it won't be too much longer to see Trout. Quick one pitch out here. You love that.
Remifo catches the pop-up from Kevin Kiermaier.
You might try it as soon as he gets comfortable holding the bat. He's going to start swinging the bat. You might see him back early to mid-August, it seems to be.
Now a track in that 4 to 6 week range that the Angels were hoping Trout would slide into. It's already been about 3.5 weeks since surgery. Merrifield looks at a strike, so if he is in that 4 to 6 week window, the Angels certainly would love that. They talk a lot about pain tolerance when you're coming back from that sort of injury. Merrifield hits one hard to center. Mickey Moniak is there, and there's the second out here in the third.
2 quick outs for Reid Detmers. Good after 43 pitches through 2 innings. You love to have a quick, clean inning here.
It was really the second inning when that pitch count spiked a bit due to 2 walks and 3 strikeouts. Detmers working alone in the bottom of the second, using his defense though here in the third. Now Bo Bichette, the batter, trying to lead the American League in hits for a 3rd straight year. It's something that hasn't been often done in baseball history.
It's amazing because he is so aggressive, especially at the first pitch. Puts the ball in play a lot. He's up there hacking.
See the hit leaders in the major leagues. Bichette leading the AL. Only 6 players ever have led their league in hits in 3 straight seasons. And only 1 Blue Jay has ever won the batting title, John Olerud, in 1993. Bichette vying for that as well.
One of the most underrated players in the game's history, John Olerud. He was
really
an outstanding player.
You look at his numbers in that era, especially in the steroid era. He is very unheralded for the way that he went about his business in the 90s and early 2000s, and typically playing for playoff teams. He was on the Blue Jays when they won the World Series. He was on the Mets when they went to the World Series. Some of those good Seattle teams.
Great glove at first base. Just an outstanding hitter.
Bichette loops one to right center, and speaking of an outstanding hitter, Bo Bichette has the first Blue Jay hit today.
And early in the season, there was quite a few of those base hits on 0-2 counts against Reid Detmers, but he's been a lot better of late. It's not a bad pitch. He just went down the guy. That's a guy that covers a lot of that strike zone, even below the strike zone, and makes contact.
Roughly 40% of his hits this year have been to the opposite field. And that one adds to it. So he's on, and Guerrero's up with 2 outs.
Hasn't been running as much this year. The 3 stolen bases, been caught 3 times. It's a good idea, though, for Reid Detmers just to pay attention to him. He's given up 9 stolen bases in 11 attempts.
Two balls and no strikes on Guerrero. So the huge numbers he put up 2 years ago. Still can be a fearsome slugger at any point. Detmers with a great pitch at Guerrero, way out in front.
He's been using his curveball a lot as his off-speed pitch. Very effective today. That went at 74. Fastball count, perfect spot, 74.
Now 3 balls and a strike. Matt Chapman on deck. One slider, and Guerrero chased it.
So he's had a couple good breaking balls in the sequence against Vlad Guerrero Jr.'s curveball and now a slider.
Would you recommend one here?
Yeah, I'd still go back to that curveball. Vlad's still really, really strong on fastballs.
3-2. Bichette will run. Guerrero loops one towards shallow right field. Long run for everybody. Stefanik makes the running catch.
Fearless going back on that, knowing that Renfroe was going to be close. Stefanik, nice play on that pop-up against Vlad Jr.
Michael Stefanik tracking it down in front of Hunter Renfroe in right field. A good grab to end the third.
Sunday, from Atlanta's truest park, a diverse roster of high school players look to take their game to the next level. The Hank Aaron Invitational Showcase Game, powered by the MLB/MLBPA Youth Development Foundation. Sunday at 8 Eastern on MLB Network. If you love baseball, you need to watch baseball's show of record, MLB Tonight.
We've got a bunch of games kicking off.
Who gets you ready to start the evening? These guys.
With Harold Reynolds, I'm Adnan Burke. Good to have you with us.
Join Harold and Adnan for a first look at the night's matchups.
Shohei Ohtani. We're going to talk about this guy forever.
First take from the players.
Oh, thanks for joining us, man.
Thanks for having me.
And the first of many breakdowns.
Let's put this in perspective.
Then, as your game night continues, stay tuned for the ultimate late-night baseball party. With live look-ins to the night's biggest moments.
MLB Tonight takes you live inside the park.
The best interviews.
I've never asked a player, do you need a blanket? It is kind of cold out there.
And cutting-edge analysis from TV's best former players fresh off the field.
Get your hands up.
There's nothing quite like MLB Tonight.
That is awesome.
This one takes the cake.
This is going to be a big deal tonight.
Exactly. You can't top that.
MLB Tonight, every night on MLB Network.
Here at Rogers Center. The roof is opening as the top of the fourth inning begins. Boy, it just is a completely different ballpark now.
Yes. Fans were cheering when the roof was opening up, too. As were we.
Yeah, we want to be outside. It's nice that they have the roof for when it rains or snows here in Canada. And if it's not raining or snowing, open this place up. Matt Thaiss leading off here in the top of the fourth against Manoah. It does make it a little bit of a different ballpark in terms of how the ball travels when the roof is open.
Well, so far in this game, fastball's been good for Manoah, but his second best pitch has been his changeup.
Time is called by Matt Thaiss.
The umpire's upset again. There was music being played. This is about ready to deliver the baseball. I guess if it's not Rush being played in here, they're going to be upset.
I understand. We'll get a nice Canadian apology. We'll move on. No balls and 2 strikes on Matt Thaiss. This is a vibrant, multicultural city. Great restaurants, got the water near downtown. This is a great place here in Toronto.
Always one of my favorite cities to visit for a long, long time.
I was asking around last night why they call it the 6. You know, Drake kind of popularized calling Toronto the 6. And it just has to do with the area code, 416. That's it. I thought it was going to be more to it than that. I was disappointed.
That's the Drake.
That's the 416. That's what made it the 6.
Yeah.
I thought there was a cool story behind it. Yeah, what do I know?
Wayne, I can't believe you didn't know that was the area code. Come on.
Well, I knew it was the area. I knew it was the area code.
Come
I just didn't know
man.
that's why they called it the 6.
Absolutely not. I got to give you a hard time for that. The land of Drake. Come on.
Matt Thaiss, it's a fly ball, and now contending with the light coming through the roof. Kevin Kiermaier with the sunglasses on his head retires Matt Thaiss, and there's one away. I mean, I don't know. Just thought there'd be a better reason.
The 6th wonder of the world or something?
Yeah. You know, maybe there was 6 monuments. Who knows? I don't know. Not from here. Well, now I've been given different information. See, now this is the whole other thing. Here's Hunter Renfroe. Now this is better. The 6 municipalities making up Metro Toronto before they were all joined in 1998. I like that. I like that reason better than it just being the area code. So that's good. That's a little bit of background.
Now you
that's content.
Now you can rest easy.
Yes. Now I feel much better. Hunter Renfroe at a base hit his first time.
We had a good swing there, a really good swing, and that changeup was up on the inner half. So far, Toronto's got to be real happy what they've seen from Alek Manoah, making the right pitch at the right time so far this afternoon, and the Angels trying to get that big hit when they get that opportunity.
Let him off the hook a bunch here. Renfroe's only hit a couple of home runs in the month of July. Even more than that, you look at the RBI total, only 4 runs batted in this month for Renfroe.
That's a great take on a slider. That's one of the better sliders that Manoah has thrown today.
1 ball, 2 strikes. The Angels have left 5 men on base. And if you go over to the last 3 innings yesterday, plus the first 3 today, they've left 13 on base in the last 6 innings. Another good slider, and that one is rung up for strike 3.
That was below the strike zone. Renfroe not real happy about that one. He's going to let you know about that. That's below the zone. A sharp breaking ball, but clearly about a baseball below the zone.
Eduardo Escobar flied to right his first time. Escobar hit his first home run with the Angels a few days ago in Detroit. There's the CN Tower. A shot.
Yeah, it's always a great view. Especially when you look up at it, not when you're all the way up on top, though.
Yeah, you don't like heights. You don't like being up there.
No.
Yeah, live a little.
No,
should have gone yesterday. You were off.
No, that's good. Erica made it up there, though.
She lean out over the thing. Well, Escobar has some pain after fouling that ball off his foot. He will be tended to first by Alek Manoah. And now one of the Angels trainers heads out as well, Ed Munson.
You know, when you have that breaking ball and it's down and you hit it right off your foot.
Escobar really favoring that right leg.
See if they get in the foot or the leg itself. Ooh, straight towards the knee area. The inside part of the knee.
Ooh. Right on top of the knee on that right side. So Escobar certainly feeling that. It is a painful area to foul the ball off.
When you're seeing all the spin on pitches from guys on that mound now as a hitter, so you get that spin coming in and you make contact. You've seen a lot more foul balls around the kneecap area and the shin area than in a long time.
So the count 2 balls 2 strikes on Escobar. Stay in and finish this at bat here. The sun shining down now here at Rogers Center. Escobar just needs an extra moment before it digs back in.
So difficult for hitters, you would think, here with the roof being open in the middle of your at bats this inning.
Escobar chases and misses for strike 3, and that knee barking won't even make an effort to go to first base. Alek Manoah has his first 1-2-3 inning.
We love going to games, but good seats get pricey. So we use Game Time. Game Time checks ticket prices in real time and finds you all the best last-minute deals. We got our seats 20 minutes ago for 60% off. Last-minute tickets at the best price in seconds. Download Game Time now.
Let's talk about ED. As you get a little older, things tend to work a little differently.
I felt shame, embarrassment, guilt.
Like something had been knocked out from underneath me. What HIMS does is says, hey, look, don't worry about it. We got this part covered. 100% online.
The whole process was very discreet.
It made me feel like I'm a rock star.
This product has changed my life.
When it kicked in, I said, yeah, I'm back. I remember this feeling.
Get started today at 4hims.com.
At Warby Parker, we believe in vision for all. Not just in the sense that we offer lots of frame styles and sizes, because we do. Or that we have glasses, sunglasses, contacts, and eye exams. There's also that. But because we believe everyone has the right to see. So for every pair sold, a pair of glasses is distributed to someone in need. Try 5 pairs for free, or visit a nearby store.
Among the American League leaders in highest average exit velocity, along with a couple of Blue Jays. Matt Chapman on that list. He'll lead off here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Corey Seager as well on the IL right now for the Rangers. So is Jonah Heim, as Texas has been getting bit by the injury bug here a bit lately.
Yeah,
Still in first place.
They've been relatively healthy prior to this stretch.
Blue Jays have been really healthy this year. Outside of some pitchers that have gone on the IL, Ryu's coming back. Jordan Romano, their closer, was put on the IL today. Romano feeling the effects of some back tightness that began at the All-Star game. Chapman looks at a strike from Detmers. They're closing the roof back up now, by the way. We can't really see, but the only patch of sky we can see looks clear. They're kind of just reconfiguring. So Chapman fouls it off.
Boy, as a hitter, especially as you get this time of the day, depending on, I know at the Big A, dealing with the sunshine and shadows. Yeah. I wonder if that comes into play here. 3 o'clock start, East Coast time.
1 ball, 2 strikes on Chapman. So now the shadows that were lingering around home plate are enveloping the entire infield at this point. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Chapman. And he drives one toward left center field. Got under it. Mickey Moniak now comes in for it. And Chapman's the first out here in the 4th.
You get a pretty good hittable slider there. He's still susceptible to fastballs. Really, really good against sliders and breaking balls.
Chapman hit a homer yesterday. Had that great series against the Angels at Angel Stadium earlier this year when he hit a grand slam. Remember, Toronto won 2 out of 3 in that series at Angel Stadium. And they won the first game here yesterday.
It's a huge game on every level here for the Angels.
So keep in mind, there's no more game 163. If you finish tied, it goes based on your head-to-head record. And the Angels have won the season series against both the Red Sox and the Yankees. So no tiebreaker there as far as the Angels winning the tiebreaker. They would have it against Boston and New York. To have it against Toronto, they would need to win today and tomorrow and end up tied in their season series, because then the next qualifier is based on your own division record. And the Blue Jays have played horribly against the AL East this year. They are 7-20 against their own division, so they would not have the tiebreaker against the Angels, who are 16-14 against the American League West.
less games within your division this season with the balanced schedule.
So the Angels would very likely have the tiebreaker over Toronto. They already have it over both the Red Sox and the Yankees. So that's why even more these next two games are crucial for the Angels to win. Springer strikes out.
That's a real good curveball. Twice now he struck out Springer. Once on a fastball look, and this time a curveball below the zone. Springer now 0 for 7 against Reid Detmers in his career. Just a great spot.
He's 1 for his last 32 overall. He's really going through it. Here's Jansen. He takes a strike from Detmers.
Another good curveball. You see the balance of the Jays hitters off on that curveball.
One ball, 2 strikes on Jansen. Jansen drafted out of Appleton West High School in Wisconsin, just north of Green Bay. Born in Elmhurst, Illinois, though, so I'll have to ask him if he's a Bears fan or a Packers fan and judge him harshly based on his answer.
Wouldn't think it'd be a Bears fan. This thing.
Well, I don't know when he moved to Wisconsin. Two balls and 2 strikes. Now, being in this broadcast booth here, we're kind of underneath a canopy or whatever. We can't really see the roof as it opens and moves around, but the opening process continues here at Rogers Center. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Well, if you had a chance to go to the old stadium, exhibition stadium, especially in the beginning of the year and in playoff time, you would have loved to have had this roof. Believe me.
I'd imagine
it was quite cold.
I bet. Jansen spoils a 3-2 pitch from Detmers, who's thrown now 73 pitches, not yet out of the 4th inning. He and Alek Manoah have put up 0 so far. Detmers has allowed 1 hit. Manoah's given up 3. Manoah's had more traffic than Detmers. Jansen gets another piece to keep that one going. Seems like a lot of foul balls here from the Blue Jays, helping run up that pitch count for Detmers.
Yeah, not a lot of swing and misses for Reid Detmers today. He's got 4 strikeouts, but 2 looking. Just 9 swing and misses for Reid Detmers today.
Been 19 foul balls. Now 20.
See a little bit of frustration for Reid Detmers, thinking he's made some pretty good pitches with his curveball and keep getting it fouled off against him.
He's had 3 strikeouts, make that 4 strikeouts, including the one he just had of Springer. Full count pitch coming to Jansen again. He strikes him out on a slider. Good pitch there by Detmers. Back-to-back strikeouts, 5 on the day. And a 1-2-3, bottom of the 4th.
Grand Canyon University, an affordable private Christian university ranked top 20 campus in the country, offers over 310 dynamic academic programs informed by industry and student learning outcomes. In addition to federal grants and aid, traditional campus students received nearly $180 million in scholarships in 2022, with many attending for less than the cost of a state university and less debt after graduation. Scholarships are still available. Find your purpose at gcu.edu/myoffer.
It's all about putting in the work. I prepare the same way for the long haul. Tono gives you all those stats to be able to say, how can I continue to get better? And it starts to challenge you, like, okay, you've done this, but now let's challenge you. Let's do this now. It's all about just training your mind, training your body, training your spirit to be as great as you can. Tono, be your strongest.
Welcome to the Aura Sleep Lab. you need a bit more deep sleep. Getting enough high-quality sleep increases immunity. Why? Because sleep helps fend off sickness. A good night's sleep boosts your number of infection-fighting antibodies and cells. And with your Aura Ring, you can learn how to sleep deep and keep your immunity up. It's like having a sleep lab on your finger. Go to sleepwithauraring.com.
Fifth against the Mariners. Stay to enjoy a post-game Saturday night fireworks show driven by your helpful SoCal Honda dealers. Visit angels.com/promotions for more details. Angels back home after the trade deadline. They'll have Shohei Ohtani on the roster. They'll have Lucas Giolito and Ronaldo Lopez as well. And who knows who else before the trade deadline on Tuesday.
Giolito on the mound on Wednesday in Atlanta.
He'll make his home debut during that homestand against the San Francisco Giants in the back end of the upcoming homestand for the Angels. Michael Stefanik leads off the fifth. Fouls a pitch back to get behind 0-2 against Alek Manoah, who is starting to cruise. Manoah has retired 6 straight since Shohei led off the third with a double. Ohtani's due up third here in the fifth. Reid Detmers has only allowed 1 hit in 4 scoreless innings. So we've got a pitcher's duel on our hands today.
It's crazy because you can look at that coming into the game. Alek Manoah 0-5 with an ERA over 9 at home. Reid Detmers 0-4 with an ERA 5.71 on the road. Both dealing today.
That's why they play the games, I guess.
Reid Detmers' stuff is outstanding again today.
Stefanik hits a fly ball to shallow right. Springer jogs over and retires him. One away. Lucas Giolito made his Angels debut last night. Gave up a couple of home runs. Struck out Brandon Belt there. That was his first strikeout with the Angels. 5 punch-outs in 5 1/3 innings. Allowed 3 runs, 6 hits. Overall, a decent outing from Giolito. And we wanted to do a little bit better and keep the ball in the ballpark a little bit more. Gave up home runs to Chapman and Jansen. As we heard from Giolito earlier, he's excited to be on one of his hometown teams, pitching in Southern California as a big leaguer. Pretty cool opportunity for Giolito.
And he's always such an aggressive competitor on the mound. He wants to throw a 0 out every single time.
There's a liner and a base hit for Luis Rengifo. Extra bases into the right field corner, and Rengifo has a 1-out double.
And you wonder right now if indeed they pitch to Shohei Ohtani.
Can't possibly fathom that they will, but we'll see.
Good swing, lines it right down in the corner. 8th double for Rengifo, 104 miles per hour exit velocity. Looks as of this moment they're going to face Shohei. Kirk looking in.
Well, do they clear it with the third baseman?
I think right away Matt Chapman said walk him.
And
So,
Matt, look at good for Matt Chapman. He made the call, and now Shohei's at first.
and now he's going to feel the wrath of the fans here at Rogers Center. They're booing.
Shohei is now the league leader in walks as he has become more and more dangerous, and more time has passed without Mike Trout behind him in the lineup. Even though Moniak has certainly held his own and beyond. Moniak's got an 18-game hitting streak right now. He's hit about 375 since Mike Trout got injured. There's ball 1 to Moniak.
Some pretty good speed on the bases here for the Angels. Rengifo, Ohtani.
Swing and a miss as Manoah's worked that fastball by Moniak all day.
92-93, as if he's not seeing the baseball out of his hand, because there are the spots right now for Moniak. He's crushed fastballs.
Another opportunity with men on base. Moniak again flailing at Manoah's fastball. It's 1 ball, 2 strikes.
You know, I'd be surprised if Manoah throws him anything other than high fastball the rest of this at bat. You know, you just try to punch that ball to left field, left center. see where Kirk was setting up the target above the strike zone.
Might as well, as Mickey has had a tough time with that pitch today. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Taylor Ward on deck. The Angels trying to break through against Manoah. They haven't been able to, despite many base runners. Here's ball 3. The Angels have still scored just the 1 run in this series on Shohei's home run in the first inning yesterday.
I don't think you go here now 3-2 with 1 out, especially a left-handed batter at the plate.
It's ball 4 as Moniak lays off the high fastball. Manoah has issued a walk to load the bases, and now Taylor Ward will bat. Coors Light beating the pressure as we see Taylor Ward step in here. His OPS in the month of July has skyrocketed. He's been one of the hottest hitters in all of baseball. He takes ball 1 from Alek Manoah.
Yeah, your chances increase to be successful when you get to that 1-0 count with the bases loaded, now forced in the zone. Think of middle part of the field, 1 run in first if you're Taylor Ward.
That's ball 2.
That was a pretty good pitch.
Manoah starting to get wild and not getting the benefit of the strike call there. Genesis Cabrera, the left-hander for Toronto, warming up in their bullpen. Manoah's thrown 81 pitches. He's in another jam here. Bases loaded, a count 2-0 on Taylor Ward. Oh, he almost hit him. I think he did.
Oh, in the face.
Ward has been hit by the pitch, and that ball got him up around his face, and here comes the Angels staff to take a look, and there's some blood. Boy, Taylor Ward hit by the pitch, and a painful, agonizing way to take a 1-0 lead. Angels trainers are out. You could see the blood coming from the face of Ward. Hit by a pitch with the bases loaded here in the 5th inning. There's a 92-mile-an-hour fastball. It ran up and in on a 2-0 count. Manoah, who has led the American League and hit batsmen each of the last 2 years and has hit a couple of batters today. This has often been an issue for him. Certainly in that spot, didn't want to run one in that location to Taylor Ward.
The way that baseball ran in on him, because he was back-to-back breaking balls on the inner half, so he wasn't giving up on it. And if fastball runs that same plane, you're staying in there thinking that breaking ball again was coming your way. You're going to track away, and it ran up and in on him.
There's just a hush in this ballpark right now. A sold-out Rogers Center. Training staff continues to tend to Taylor Ward. You see the towel around his face. Haven't seen exactly, couldn't see exactly where it hit him. Obviously in a sensitive area as Ward continues to have pressure applied around his nose. Starting to come up to a kneeling position now. Like Andrew Velasquez is getting ready to come into the game. That means Rengifo will likely go to the outfield.
You're playing one player short basically now with Zach Neto. Position player wise.
Neto clearly not feeling ready, and I don't know. Looks like some swelling there certainly, and a cut on the side of his nose. We saw this a couple of years ago when Kevin Pillar got hit in the face by a pitch, which was actually by Jacob Webb back when he was with Atlanta. Pillar missed some time. He was out a couple of weeks. His face was all bruised up. It's a scary situation when you get hit up above the neck in any spot, let alone square in the face, as it seemed Taylor Ward did. And Ward is standing. And as the hush breaks here at Rogers Center, a big ovation for Taylor Ward. And we are going to take a look at the replay of this hit by pitch. Man.
Getting that stride, he was like, because he got him because he's been looking at that slider and that part of the plate. He was anticipating that spinning away from him and is unable to get out of the way as that runs right in on him.
Yeah, just a square shot underneath the lid of the helmet, underneath the bill of the helmet. So hopefully
wishing Taylor the very, very best.
Yeah. And Taylor Ward gets carted off. He'll get looked at. I'm sure he'll go to a local hospital here, and we'll fix whatever needs to be fixed. And we hope Taylor Ward has a quick recovery.
You knew they were going to get out of the bullpen after this. It's a tough one for Alek Manoah too, because he felt so bad about it.
Alek Manoah hands the baseball to John Schneider. And Manoah will come off with his last pitch thrown today in a dangerous spot. An ugly hit by pitch. Taylor Ward on his way out of the ballpark, and Manoah on his way off the mound. The Angels have the lead. They have the bases loaded. We'll be right back.
Think baseball.
There's something that's been missing in the debate.
Think analysis.
He really looked like the perfect thing to add to this club last night.
Think advanced metrics.
The new rules are having an impact, and I'll bottom line it.
Think MLB Now, the show for the thinking fan, only on MLB Network. You want highlights? Quick Pitch has you covered.
Things are heating up.
Packing all today's biggest plays into one lightning fast hour.
Oh my goodness! What a play!
Every game. Every night.
Swing and a miss!
Every highlight that makes the headlines.
Are you kidding me?
We live today, preview tomorrow.
The quickest way to catch up on all the action? We've got you covered.
On Quick Pitch. Late nights and early mornings, only on MLB Network.
Nissan. And Nissan, we make cars that thrill. Experience the thrill for yourself today. Shop NissanUSA.com. By Jack in the Box, introducing Snoop's Munchie Meal. Available for a limited time. Only at Jack in the Box. And by Spectrum One, Internet Advanced Wi-Fi and Mobile. For just $49.99 a month. Visit Spectrum.com. Well, there is something courageous about stepping into a major league batter's box and staring down 90, 95, 100-mile-an-hour pitches. There's always the risk that one will get away and hit you in the face, and that's what Taylor Ward just endured in the last pitch thrown by Alek Manoah today. This is Genesis Cabrera, former Cardinal, the new pitcher for Toronto, facing Moustakas with the bases loaded.
He's got a pretty firm fastball, 94 to 98 curveball changeup.
The Angels get on the board in a way that I'm sure they would have preferred not to. They have the 1-0 lead, now trying to add to it. Moustakas behind in the count, no balls, 2 strikes. Cabrera had been part of the Cardinal bullpen for a while. An ERA above 5 though for St. Louis this year, and was traded for a minor leaguer last week. Strikes out Mike Moustakas on 3 pitches. Cabrera immediately enters and gets a big out.
Moustakas usually a guy who will make some contact there, but unable to catch up to that high fastball. Huge at bat here now for Matt Thaiss and the Angels to add on here.
Cabrera's always been tough to hit, but he does get wild. This is with ball 1 to Matt Thaiss.
Now you just try to force him into the zone here. You've battled a 1-0 count with bases loaded. Your chances of being successful as a hitter with the bases loaded 1-0 count increased dramatically here.
Pitch almost hit Thaiss, and we'll see if they rule it a hit by pitch. Looks like it's a foul ball.
Said it hit his hand.
Yeah, Thaiss is saying it hit him on the hand, and so far the home plate umpire says a foul ball. So we'll see if the Angels want to take a look. I guess they don't.
I think it ended up getting the barrel of the bat.
Yeah, hit the bat. So 1 ball, 1 strike on Thaiss. One up and in, almost hit him. 2 balls and a strike.
And that's 2 pitches in a row, up and in. I mean, especially you're a batter. You're whether in your on-deck circle or in the dugout, and you see what happened to Taylor Ward. I mean, you got to be thinking that high velocity fastballs, pitchers, spin on all the breakables. It's tough as a hitter.
Toughest thing to do in all of sports. Hit a baseball. There's ball 3 from Cabrera. So the Angels trying to be patient here. 2 walks, a hit by a pitch after the double by Rengifo. They've scored 1.
Shohei's able to get way down the line. If there's a pitch, well, obviously now if it's out of the zone and bounces, it's going to be a walk anyhow.
Nice, comes up empty on a big 3-1 swing. Cabrera, a hard thrower, 96-mile-an-hour fastball to make it 3-2. So now all the runners will go. Angels have the lead, trying to get more here in the 5th inning. They have loaded the bases 4 times now in this series. They've yet to get a hit with the bases loaded. Nice, pops it up on the infield. Guerrero there. Espinal makes the catch. And again, the Angels cannot get the big hit. They do score 1, and they have a 1-0 lead.
Hey kids, join MLB Network and your favorite players for a show made just for you. Play ball. It's all the big moments, bat flips, and amazing plays from an exciting week of baseball and tips to up your game on MLB Network.
I love the Boys and Girls Clubs because they help you believe that you can make it to the big leagues.
Big leagues of what? Law. Art? Construction? Baseball?
How'd you guess?
With the help of Major League Baseball, the Boys and Girls Clubs of America help kids make it to the big leagues of anything.
Frontier. The breaking pitches today by Reid Detmers. Curveball, 2-0 curveball at 73 mile an hour off speed breaking ball. And then the slider at 90 in on the hands of Laguerre Jr. That pop-up finishes off the inning. So the separation of speeds of his breaking ball using his curveball as his all-speed pitch today.
A long time when the Angels were batting in the top of the 5th inning. A lot going on there. So Detmers hasn't thrown a pitch in a while. Alejandro Kirk's got a base hit on the first pitch Detmers throws here in the bottom of the 5th. Leadoff man on for Toronto.
You know how aggressive they are on the first pitch.
Yep. Angels have moved Luis Rengifo to left field to replace Ward. Andrew Velasquez, who went in as a pinch runner, is the new shortstop. Zach Neto not available. At least not to this point. Neto says it is more painful to swing the bat than it is to play defense, as he continues to battle that back tightness.
All those plays he had to make in Detroit. It was unbelievable how many plays he had to make his first game back.
The Angels are hoping that Brandon Drury is back by the end of the next week. As Espinal looks at a strike. Drury is expected to go to Salt Lake and have a couple of AAA rehab games starting Tuesday, with the intention to be back when the team returns home Thursday against Seattle. 2 balls and a strike on Espinal. What do you do as a pitcher when you have a longer half inning in front of you?
Well, you just keep focusing there to know exactly what you got to do as far as making sure you mix it in that curveball, the all-speed pitch, but you don't fall into overthrowing pitches, because it's a momentum shift when they only get 1 run for you. As the opponent, they feel they got the momentum on their side now.
Usually when you have a long half inning offensively, it's because the team is scoring runs. In that instance, though, a long injury delay, a pitching change, the Angels end up with just 1 run. Genesis Cabrera comes in, wasn't throwing many strikes, struck out Moustakas, and then on 3-2, Matt Dice helped him out, swung at ball 4 a couple of times in that at bat, and popped out. So the Angels settled for just 1 run. They have had 4 bases loaded opportunities in this series, and they have not had a hit in any of them.
And how important is this game? You're seeing the bullpen for the Angels already getting warmed up.
It's a big one today and tomorrow. The Angels need at least 1. If they win this series, they'll get closer and they'll have the tiebreaker over Toronto. Espinal with a long fly ball to left field, and that is long gone. Santiago Espinal, who has hit only 1 home run all year, has driven out his 2nd, and it is 2-1 Toronto.
Yeah, definitely not a home run hitter, but goes 381. Into account when you look in his zone, and he got it, and just like that, the Jays are up. Fastball inner half.
Kevin Kiermaier looks at a strike, and now the Angels are behind. You just cannot keep leaving the bases loaded as often as they have these last 2 games. These are important games. This is big time baseball now. These are serious games as far as a playoff contention, a playoff race. Kiermaier hits one up the middle. Velasquez gets to it and throws him out. For some of these guys, this might all be new to them. Having opportunities late in a season, at least in the second half of a season. Not quite late yet, but getting later. And these games have a lot of meaning.
Now the top of the order, the 3rd time through now for Reid Detmers. To settle down, you get that out there.
Strike to Merrifield. It's been well documented how the 3rd time through has been a struggle for Detmers. Opponents hitting .359 this year. After a long layoff between innings for Detmers, he has come out in the bottom of the 5th, allowed a base hit immediately to Kirk, and then a home run to an unlikely hitter, Santiago Espinal. One ball, 2 strikes on Merrifield. Bo Bichette behind him. Angels bullpen is up. So is Toronto's. Jay Jackson getting loose for the Blue Jays. Remember, they don't have their closer now. Romano is hurt. That's Reynaldo Lopez up for the Angels as Merrifield fouls one back. So it looks like at some point today we'll see the Angel debut for Lopez.
And he has been throwing the ball exceptionally well since the 1st month of the season.
Detmers ahead of Merrifield. Spoils another. Merrifield has often been tough to strike out in his career. Former Royal, has been a 3-time All-Star. Traded from Kansas City last year at the trade deadline. Rolls this one to 3rd. It's grabbed by Escobar. Long off-balance throw is in time. And Merrifield's the 2nd out here in the 5th.
Yeah, Merrifield still runs very, very well. He did a very close play. Nice play by Escobar. When you think about it, that knee, that foul ball, they might be looking at it again. I thought he got him.
Here comes Ray Montgomery, is the Angels interim manager today or the acting manager with Phil Nevin not in there as he's suspended. And with Bo Bichette coming up, the Angels will make the pitching change now. And we'll see the Angel debut of Reynaldo Lopez in just a moment.
This is Bo Bichette. This is Christopher Russo. And this is the High Heat Hot Seat. Bo Bichette plays hard, so he doesn't end up here. High Heat with Christopher Russo, helping players play harder on MLB Network. Keep up with every team on MLB Network wherever you go. Just download the MLB app, click MLB Network, and sign in with your TV provider info. Then watch MLB Network all day, every day, your way.
See it. He struck him out. It's out of here.
Feel it.
I can't wait for this game to start. He took a home run away.
Live it.
That is as good as it gets.
The big plays.
The beauty of sports is when the hero comes through.
Yeah, the tense moments.
We have an update we must show you.
With live look-ins, highlights, and breakdowns.
That might be what it takes to win.
MLB Tonight on MLB Network.
Runs, 3 hits in 4 2/3 innings, but a lot of pitches, a lot of foul balls by the Blue Jays ran up that pitch count. So Reid Detmers the third time through the order in this important game, this close game with a pretty rested bullpen right now. The Angels not taking any chances that Detmers will have a blow up the third time through the order. So here's Reynaldo Lopez, acquired with Lucas Giolito from the White Sox, making his Angels debut.
Yeah, he can hit his fastball running up there at 100 miles an hour, generally about 95 to 100 miles an hour, breakable changeup.
Bo Bichette, the first batter that Lopez will face. Lopez is a hard thrower. Really ended his tenure well with the White Sox. He'd been there for several years along with Giolito, traded together. Dane Dunning moved there as well when the White Sox traded Adam Eaton to Washington. Lopez had been a starter for a lot of that time. Moved to the bullpen. He has a 1.75 ERA dating all the way back to May 14th.
His average fastball 98.3 miles per hour this season.
Since he made an adjustment with that fastball lately to get more strikes thrown. He was pitching last year. He threw a lot of strikes, and he was incredibly good for the White Sox last season at a 2.76 ERA. Only walked 11 hitters all of last year. He's walked 22 this year. Bichette loops it, and it's over third, a base hit. Long run for Rengifo to go get that ball in the left field corner as Bichette gets to second. And he'll stop there. His second hit today, a 2-out double here in the fifth.
And another hit on a breaking ball that was down below the strike zone. Remember, he had that base hit. That's Reid Detmers on a slider, was below the strike zone. Same thing here on a breaking ball to stay down on it. Even though it was slightly out in front, kept his hands back. His 25th double.
Now Guerrero is 0 for 2. And in from Reynaldo Lopez. Lopez from the Dominican Republic, originally signed by Washington in 2012. Breaks Guerrero's bat, gets a comebacker that he takes care of casually to retire Vlad Jr. and end the inning. The Blue Jays took the lead on a 2-run homer from Santiago Espinal. The Angels now down by a run.
MLB Tonight, the ultimate late-night baseball party.
Oh, man.
With live look-ins to the night's biggest moments.
How hot was that?
That's money.
What?
The best interviews.
I've never asked a player, do you need a blanket? It is kind of cold out there.
And cutting-edge analysis from TV's best former players fresh off the field.
Get your hands up.
There's nothing quite like MLB Tonight.
This is going to be a big deal tonight.
This one takes the cake. That is awesome.
MLB Tonight, late nights on MLB Network.
It's the modern baseball show for the modern baseball fan. Off Base, with interviews and coverage of baseball's hottest stars.
I've done a couple interviews in my life. This probably is the most fun I've ever been a part of.
Only on MLB Network.
Valley Sports brought to you by Carl's Jr. The El Diablo Burger is back. Consider yourself warned. By Pitching Decisions, presented by Sage, official finance software partner of Major League Baseball. And by the original Shakey's Pizza Parlor, serving food, families, and fun since 1954. Well, the Blue Jays will need a lot of outs from their bullpen today. It hasn't really been a bullpen that has been too trustworthy, especially considering that the guy who's been the most trustworthy, Romano, is unavailable. Now he's on the IL. So here's a veteran, Jay Jackson, entering the game for Toronto.
It's been pretty solid in 11 games so far. An ERA 0.57. A whip is exactly the same. Opponent's batting average under 100. There's a lot of sliders, about 62%. Fastball 92-96.
Really is an amazing game at the end of the day, because here's a guy who is 35 years old. Jay Jackson first played pro ball in 2008 when he was in the Cubs organization. He's only pitched in 70 major league games. A lot of time in the minor leagues, a lot of time in Japan. Pitched in the Mexican League. This guy has been all over the world trying to harness his craft, and now at 35 years old, getting another big league opportunity with the Toronto Blue Jays.
See that? A lot of sliders. That's 3 in a row to start this at-bat against Renfroe.
Falls behind, 2 balls and a strike. Jackson's been very good at the big league level this year. He's only allowed 1 run in 15 2/3 innings, just 5 hits he's given up.
Even 2-1 count, he won't be surprised if he threw another slider.
And he did, and Renfroe swings through it. So now it's 2-2. Angels offense, which has been so strong, scored so many runs against the Tigers and throughout the previous homestand. They've gone back into their shell here in the first 2 games against the Blue Jays, managing just 2 runs so far in 14 innings. Renfroe hits one hard toward the right field corner. That gets down. That's a base hit as it one-hops the fence. Springer plays it in quickly. Renfroe's on his way to second. He's got a leadoff double.
Boy, he went with a fastball there, and he stayed on it. What a swing that was. He's been doing that a lot better of late. Renfroe's going the other way. Second hit again today. Leadoff double. That's what you want. A response from the offense. Our Arco top-tier play. Fastball up after all those sliders. 4 of them stayed on that fastball and lined to the right for a double. Leadoff double. 25th double of the year for Renfroe.
Here's Eduardo Escobar, leadoff man on. Ball 1 from Jackson. Escobar 0 for 2 with a strikeout. It's the 3rd double of this game from the Angels. The 2nd time they've had a leadoff 2-base hit. Jackson gets that one over the back door, and it's 1 ball 1 strike on Escobar.
Yeah, Escobar at the very least wants to hit something on the right side, but if Jackson keeps on that back door slider, it's going to be a tough task to do that.
Way out in front of it. 1 ball 2 strikes. I mean, you have to respect the fastball. It's there, but Jackson throws a lot of sliders.
Yeah, when you go in there knowing you're going to be over 60%, this just the fastball, exactly what Renfroe did.
Escobar way out in front of that last slider. So it's now 1 ball 2 strikes.
Went another slider down and in. Do him a first pitch fastball out of zone, then 3 sliders in a row.
Escobar 0 for 3. Now with 1 out, and man still on second. Here's Stefanik. Some trades are brewing, as we'll keep you posted if anything happens. The Texas Rangers have pulled a couple of their top prospects from their games today. So it looks like something's going down involving them. Stefanik almost gets hit. It's 2 balls, no strikes. The trade deadline is in roughly 73 hours.
Boy, after you know a pitcher throws a lot of sliders, first pitch slider, then a fastball in you, because you're tracking the outer half and trying to hit the ball to right center on a slider. up and in fastball.
That's 3-0. Stefanik has a good eye, not typically one to chase.
I make him throw him a strike here now. This is the time where you're trying to set up the top of the order here. Sure, it's in his zone. I take this one right here.
And Rengifo on deck, then Shohei. There's a strike from Jackson.
3-0 slider to the number 9 hitter.
Toronto has their bullpen up again. Jackson trying to work around a leadoff double. Stefanik hits a fly ball, chases Kiermaier back a bit. Renfroe trying to tag from second base as Kiermaier unleashes a throw toward third. And Renfroe moves up 90 feet, but 2 outs. And now the batter will be Luis Rengifo. Rengifo with a double and a run scored his last time. See if he can come through. The Angels have just not done anything with runners in scoring position over these last 2 games. They are 0 for 9 today, actually 0 for 11 at this moment. Rengifo fouls off the first pitch, dating back to the beginning of this series. The Angels last night didn't have many opportunities in the early innings with runners in scoring position, but certainly had some late. Yesterday 0 for 7, so now 0 for 16 in this series with runners in scoring position. And quickly 0-2 on Rengifo. Angels generally have been middle of the pack with runners in scoring position this year.
Hunter Renfroe right now, you know there's a good chance the slider's coming. Throwing to Rengifo from Jackson, so if anything gets to that dirt at all, you just got to be able to read that just in case.
Jackson ahead 0-2. Rengifo has to turn away, so it's 1 ball 2 strikes.
That's just a show pitch now, you know that. You see a pitcher miss by that much with your fastball, it's just to show something different. You're going to your number 1 pitch.
One ball and 2 strikes. It's 2-2.
Boy, Kirk is so good there behind the plate, keeping everything in front.
He has easily been one of the best blocking and framing catchers in the major leagues this year. Working here with Renfroe at third, the tying run. It's 2-2 on Rengifo. Shohei on deck. There's ball 3. Blue Jays have activity in their bullpen. Looks like Trevor Richards throwing. On 3-2, Rengifo takes ball 4. So Shohei.
I don't know if they're going to pitch to him anyhow, especially now. What they've been saying about this the whole time, but I'd love to see Shohei get a chance. There is an open base, but Shohei might get that opportunity here. Kirk's looking in.
Well, Richards should be ready. Here comes John Schneider, and they're going to go to the bullpen. So Jay Jackson works a couple of men on base, gave up the leadoff double with a strikeout, a fly out, and a walk. And now he'll leave with the tying and go-ahead runs on base, and Shohei Ohtani due up. The major league leader in home runs will hit with a chance to give the Angels the lead in just a moment.
If sports fans built a streaming service.
What's going on?
I think we found a way to stop fans from destroying their TVs when their teams lose.
How's it work?
Hey, Charlie. Philly lost.
I'm sorry, I'm going to have to put you on hold for just 1 second. Okay. No!
Yeah, we need a little bit of water splashing around this one.
Bob Ross channel. It's frickin' genius.
It's even a little over here.
Live TV and sports and more, but mostly sports. That's Fubo!
Sure, you'll teach her how to drive a car. Then use Greenlight to power her independence with crash detection with 911 dispatch, family location sharing, and emergency SOS alerts. Invest in your best investment with Greenlight.
With the Game Time app, I paid 60% less than this guy.
What?
And it's not just sports tickets. It's also concerts. Performances, too!
Oh, come on!
Download Game Time. Last-minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed.
Shohei with his second today, a rocket. Shohei Ohtani due up in a big spot as we are in the top of the 6th inning. Our blue moon bright spot. Shohei has been the brightest spot there could be in Major League Baseball. 39 home runs on the year. See what he's done over the course of his last 49 games. 27 homers. In a 50-game stretch, only 5 have hit 28 in a 50-game span, and the Angels are really rolling, or rather the Blue Jays are really rolling the dice. They are going to put the go-ahead run at second base here as they intentionally walk Shohei Ohtani. Boy, Chapman really got in Schneider's head.
Now you just got to be patient here for Mickey Moniak. I know you in those spots you just want to do the damage and make sure you keep it in the zone.
Well, he's been so good. And he swings and misses on a high fastball. He has just swung through everything though today. An 18-game hitting streak. And quickly behind here, no balls and 2 strikes.
He's been so clutch in these moments too. Just not seeing that fastball up, and I can't imagine anything but that. Richards' fastball, 92-95, has a little run to it. He'll throw a curveball, slider, and a changeup.
Moniak hitting over 300 this year with men in scoring position. Lays off the high fastball. Finally, it's 1 ball and 2 strikes.
And the best pitch for Richards really is his changeup.
Richards, a starter early in his career, has found a home in the Blue Jays bullpen. Misses there to make it 2 balls and 2 strikes on Mickey Moniak.
He finally came in there with his changeup after 3 fastballs in a row. 2-2. He's still over 50%, 53%. He'll throw a changeup here.
Ace is loaded. Moniak touches that one and fouls it back. Still expanded the zone there. That would likely have been ball 3.
Real close to being that late of a swing and almost got the glove of Kirk on the swing.
Angels have been desperate for a hit with men in scoring position. Moniak takes ball 3s. Now the runners will go.
That was that changeup. And does he want to try that changeup again? 3-2. So far this season, he's thrown it over 60% of the time, even on a 3-2 count, but it's a little different with the bases loaded.
He's had a lot of strikeouts this year, 77 in 52 innings. He's got a 3-2 count on Moniak. And it's in there, strike 3 called. The Angels are 0 for 17 in this series with runners in scoring position.
We love going to games, but good seats get pricey. So we use Game Time. Game Time checks ticket prices in real time and finds you all the best last-minute deals. We got our seats 20 minutes ago for 60% off. Last-minute tickets at the best price in seconds. Download Game Time now.
Let's talk about ED. As you get a little older, things tend to work a little differently.
I felt shame, embarrassment, guilt.
Like something had been knocked out from underneath me. What HIMS does is says, hey, look, don't worry about it. We got this part covered. 100% online.
The whole process was very discreet.
It made me feel like I'm a rock star.
This product has changed my life.
When it kicked in, I said, yeah, I'm back. I remember this feeling.
Get started today at 4hims.com.
At Warby Parker, we believe in vision for all. Not just in the sense that we offer lots of frame styles and sizes, because we do. Or that we have glasses, sunglasses, contacts, and eye exams. There's also that. But because we believe everyone has the right to see. So for every pair sold, a pair of glasses is distributed to someone in need. Try 5 pairs for free, or visit a nearby store.
Continue to lead this game 2-1. Bottom of the 6th inning. Manoah Lopez back out on the mound. Pitches 2nd inning against Matt Chapman, who's going to be leading off this inning for the Jays.
Here's Matt Chapman stepping in to start the bottom of the 6th inning. You see the big fastball from Lopez. That was a big number in the Angels' left on base column. See it on the video board here in straightaway center field. 11. Still a few innings to go here, though, as the Angels have time to come back. Only down by 1.
And in this ballpark, too, you're down by 1. You have a great chance in this yard. Stayed with a fastball again against Chapman. Threw him a slider there. I imagine he's going to try to run a fastball up above the zone now, especially if you get it on the inner half against Chapman.
Chapman flying to center his last time, walked his first time up.
And that's the 116th time he has struck out this season on that fastball up and in.
Ronaldo Lopez gets his first strikeout as a member of the Angels.
Good life to that 99, gets by him upstairs.
Nice, did a good job hanging on to that. That's tough to hang on to one with that kind of velocity. Chapman among the major league leaders in strikeouts. Teoscar Hernandez running away with the title right now. He has struck out 137 times. Chapman at 116 after that one. Here's Springer, who has struck out twice today. In the midst of a slump, 1 for his last 32. Has dropped him out of the leadoff spot.
Yeah, Reid Detmers threw him in really, really well. He had him off balance, guessing wrong. Pretty solid effort today by Reid Detmers.
Detmers went 4 2/3. He was out there. He was pretty good. 2 runs on 3 hits. Santiago Espinal with a home run, though, and that's the difference maker right now. Espinal's 2nd home run of the year. Typically a guy who really just plays against lefties. Springer swings and misses. Ronaldo Lopez has back-to-back strikeouts, and Springer has struck out 3 times today. 2 outs, and here's a quick word from Land Rover.
It's about as off balance as I've seen Springer at the plate in a long time.
Jansen bounces one foul and a 100-mile-an-hour fastball from Lopez. Well, this is why the Angels brought in Ronaldo Lopez. They needed to bolster their bullpen as well as their rotation. They feel good about where the rotation is now with Giolito on board. And Lopez, a big arm out of that bullpen. This guy who's proven he can get major league hitters out. He's done it for a while. Had that very good year last year out of the bullpen in Chicago, and we're seeing everything Ronaldo Lopez has to offer here so far today.
He's been really impressive since that start of the season where he struggled. Oh, that's nasty. That's right there.
The umpire flinched. Andy Fletcher.
That's all over the strike zone. I mean, that's a tough miss.
100-mile-an-hour fastball. Yeah, good thing Phil's inside today.
I mean, that's right down the middle of the plate.
Yep. Swing and a miss. Ronaldo Lopez strikes out the side. His Angels debut has been a good one. He works a scoreless bottom of the 6th.
It's like that.
Got him and stays fair.
We got breaking news. Wall-to-wall breaking news.
It's that time of year.
The Dodgers get Machado.
Where teams make their move.
We are the epicenter of the trade deadline.
To postseason glory.
I love what San Diego's doing here.
Juan Soto, first time in a Padres uniform.
But this deadline waits for no one.
They're the best offense.
Who's going to get Ohtani?
We're watching. It makes them a competitive lineup.
You heard it here first.
Oh my!
The 2023 MLB trade deadline special. Tuesday, 1 Eastern.
Friends and Family Fun Pack for only $44. Get 4 tickets, 4 hot dogs, and 4 soft drinks. For more information regarding the Coca-Cola Friends and Family Fun Pack, visit angels.com/fun pack.
Tell you what, Wayne, when you have a pitcher go out of the bullpen there and have 3 impressive strikeouts like that, you talk about momentum shifts. Right now, you got to feel that the offense has got to be able to get something going. When you see somebody bringing 99 to 100-mile-an-hour fastball, again, 3 strikeouts, you got to feel good.
Andrew Velasquez trying to bunt his way on against Trevor Richards, who struck out Mickey Moniak. To end the top of the 6th inning, the Angels have left 11 men on base. They have left the bases loaded 3 times today and twice in the game late last night. They go back to the last 9 innings. The Angels have left 18 men on base and the bases loaded 4 times, 5 times. Ball, 2 strikes now on Velasquez.
Get on base with that speed.
Trying to lead off the 7th. Takes ball 2 from Trevor Richards. Richards was undrafted. Strikes out Velasquez on the changeup. And the Angels having a tough time getting by without Zach Neto. Once again, Neto missed some time with that oblique. And the Angels dropped a lot of games when Neto was out. That lineup's just a lot different without him. As Velasquez strikes out here, and there's one away. Mike Moustakas will stand in now.
This changeup, such a good pitch for Richards. It's going to be away, so it's going to force you, especially as a left-handed power batter, Moustakas, you're going to have to drive that out to left center field, maybe left field, unless it misses in. Oh, that's.
Call that a strike?
He called that a strike.
I mean, the umpiring really throughout this season.
I mean, this pitch is not even close.
Yeah, we've seen it. There's a pitch that was borderline and called a ball. 2 balls and a strike on Moustakas. We've seen it over and over and over again this year with the umpiring. That was off the plate as well and called a strike again. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Moustakas.
And as a hitter now, you're forced to expand your strike zone.
Last night Mike Estabrook, today Andy Fletcher behind the plate. Back-to-back strikeouts for Richards to start the 7th, 3 in a row since he's entered. Matt Thaiss will bat after a quick word from Jack in the Box.
Yo, Jack, that a baked brownie in my munchie meal?
You know it, Snoop.
Say less.
Angels have managed a run on 5 hits today, a run on 9 hits yesterday, and the run was on a solo homer. They're still very much in this game. It's only 2-1. Toronto's bullpen has stood up to the task today after Alek Manoah worked 4 1/3 innings. Genesis Cabrera 2/3 of an inning. Jay Jackson 2/3. And Richards has worked a full inning, and he has got a count now of 2 balls and a strike on Thaiss. I mean, Alejandro Kirk. I mean, the strike zone's all over the place.
I mean, he looked at it as if he thought that was going to be called a strike, and that was way off the plate.
Is he just guessing at this point? Down is up and up is down here in the top of the 7th.
I'm sure he's hearing something from the dugout now. I mean, that's not a strike either.
Still 2 balls, 2 strikes on Thaiss. Ball 3.
I believe another changeup coming here. 3-2. Went fastball upstairs. Pretty good swing at it.
Blue Jays bullpen is active again. That's strike 3 called to Thaiss. So Richards strikes out the side.
Sunday, from Atlanta's truest park, a diverse roster of high school players look to take their game to the next level. The Hank Aaron Invitational Showcase Game, powered by the MLB MLBPA Youth Development Foundation. Sunday at 8 Eastern on MLB Network.
It's like that.
Got him, it stays fair.
Toronto, but it's turned into a nice sunny day as the Angels and Blue Jays are in a close game here. It's 2-1 Toronto. Angels trying to avoid dropping the first 2 games of this important series at Rogers Center, and a former Blue Jay takes over on the mound as Aaron Loup enters the game. Loup was with the Blue Jays for a long time. For a while, he was the longest tenured Blue Jay and became the franchise all-time leader in games pitched by a left-hander. He passed Scott Downs, former Blue Jay and former Angel, on that list to have the most games pitched by a Blue Jay left-hander. So certainly a homecoming of sorts for Aaron Loup to face the bottom part of the Toronto order, including Alejandro Kirk and then Espinal. His home run is the difference in this game. There's a strike from Loup to Kirk.
Very, very important for Aaron Loup to have this quick 1-2-3 inning. You got Renfroe leading off, who's been swinging the bat very well for the Halos. A chance to tie it up with one swing of the bat.
This ball hit well down the left field line to the corner, and it is gone. A home run for Kirk. Just got it over the newly raised wall in left field. And the Blue Jays add to their lead. It's 3-1.
It's like yesterday when they were able to get that solo shot. Merrifield got it. He's able to bring his hands in on that one. Cutter. And just lines it out.
Santiago Espinal hit a 2-run homer in the 5th inning. It scored Kirk. Both of these Blue Jay batters at the bottom of the order have not homered much. Kirk only has hit 5 now, and Espinal just 2. Big blows today. A day where once again the Angels have squandered many scoring chances, leaving 11 men on base. T-Mobile coverage cam. Espinal's home run in the 5th.
After that long half inning, Detmers had to sit around for a while. Kirk base hit. Espinal with a 2-run home run. Just like that, from a 1-0 lead to a 2-1 deficit.
Espinal trying to squirt one toward the right field line, but Renfroe makes a nice catch ranging over. And there's one out here in the 7th. We have not gotten any word yet from Angels PR about Taylor Ward. Hopefully Taylor is doing as well as he could after being hit by a pitch in the face earlier today. As it turns out, the only RBI so far for the Angels in this game, and Taylor Ward was carted out of here holding a towel up to his face. He was hit sort of on the side of the nose. A pretty square shot from Alek Manoah. Certainly we hope the best for Taylor. As see if the Angels have any word to pass along during the game here. No balls and a strike now. 1 ball, 1 strike on Kiermaier, who's 0 for 2. There's a strike, and it's 1-2. Starting to be reports mentioned the Texas Rangers pulled some minor league players out of their games, and they have agreed on a trade with the New York Mets for Max Scherzer.
Really amazing where the Mets were all winter long and where they are right now. And then that, Dave Robertson was traded
Well, Scherzer has a no-trade clause, so he still needs to approve the trade. He has not yet. Apparently they're meeting right now. The Mets and Scherzer to see if Max will waive the no-trade clause and go to Texas. Which would certainly bolster the Rangers. Even though Scherzer has not had his typical dominant year, he's still been pretty good. It would certainly change the face of the Texas Rangers rotation. High bouncer, going to be a tough play. Velasquez bare hand, and he will not be able to get it to first. Probably wouldn't have mattered anyway. Kiermaier still has great speed, and he's on with a one-out infield hit.
Once it gets by that home plate area and it bounces that high, there's absolutely no chance in any play at all. Kiermaier can run really well. Also, a stolen base threat. 11 stolen bases, not been caught yet this year.
With Merrifield looks at a pitch that is called a strike, and now he can't believe what he is seeing from Andy Fletcher. Welcome to the party, Whit. We've been watching this all day.
Interesting watching Kiermaier. He's bouncing and then he goes back to the base. Aaron Loop's going to throw the baseball.
Kiermaier, the longtime former Tampa Bay Ray.
So he did it, and then he went back and then started going. Well, first move. Aaron Loop at 11 career pickoffs. Allowed 3 stolen bases in 4 attempts this year.
Loop has gotten some big outs for this team, even in the previous series against the Tigers last Tuesday. A great performance from Aaron Loop in the 10th inning to secure an Angels win. Still 0-2 on Whit Merrifield, who was 0 for 3 in this game. Trying to slow him down after what's been a great month of July. 6 of the 8 home runs that Merrifield has hit this season have come since the beginning of July. So one more game in this series tomorrow. It'll be a very early start, 12:05 here in Canada. 9:05 Pacific time. That'll be streaming on Peacock tomorrow. Gooby will be there, though.
Love to be talking about a potential series win.
Tyler Anderson will start for the Angels. Jose Barrios has had a good year, although he's struggled in his career against the Angels.
And they've had a lot of success against him. He's going to be coming into that game with an ERA over 7.
Angels tagged him pretty good earlier this year at Angel Stadium, too. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Merrifield. Still time for the Angels to bounce back today. Merrifield sends one to the gap in right center field. That's going to go to the wall. That's going to score a run. Kiermaier flying around the bases. And Aaron Loop's given up a couple of runs to his former team.
Merrifield continue that hot stretch he is on. Pitch upstairs and he lines it right center. Got his 48th RBI and 19th double.
The Angels entered this series having won 20 of their last 27 road games against the Blue Jays. They've typically played well here over the last decade at Rogers Center. They lost 4-1 yesterday, now down 4-1 today in the bottom of the 7th. Aaron Loop's given up 2 runs on 3 hits in this inning. No balls, 2 strikes on Bichette. Now some interference is going to be called on Bichette for stepping into a potential throw to second base by Matt Dice.
He stepped on the plate.
Typically see that called on stolen base attempts. Hardly ever see it on a back pick.
Yes.
You don't see it called much really ever. Andy Fletcher inserting himself into this as John Schneider has his say with the home plate umpire. And Bichette heads back to the dugout. He's the second out of the inning. John Schneider trying to make the argument that Bichette just swung and his momentum carried him into that path.
Especially though when you're stepping on the plate, though. Looked like in his Vice was trying to throw it back in the back pick. That's strictly a judgment call.
We'll take a look at how this went down. You see Bichette swinging, stepping in front of Thice, who it's hard to say if Thice even would have thrown the ball. That worked his way into an out at least. So now Guerrero is going to be intentionally walked. The Angels issue more intentional walks than any team in the major leagues by a wide margin. And it's Guerrero who is being sent to first base here. Well, 2 out, 2 on, 2 runs in here in the 7th. And Matt Chapman will be the batter. Chapman 0 for 2. Struck out and he has walked. Was picked by Thice as that pitch got away down and in.
He's trying to go with the numbers here against Chapman so far this season, although he's hit the ball hard a lot. It's a 180 batting average with runners in scoring position. And 2 outs.
Two balls and no strikes. There's one that catches some of the inside corner. 2-1 now on Matt Chapman. Chapman from Lake Forest, California, went to El Toro High School. Alongside Nolan Arenado, whose name has been popped up in trade rumors, specifically involving the Dodgers. The Cardinals have been a mess this year, and Arenado might see his way out of St. Louis before Tuesday night's trade deadline. Ball 4 to Chapman. Loads the bases with Springer coming up. A long inning for Loop. He's thrown 27 pitches.
Yeah, I got to believe Reid Montgomery's going to get out of the bullpen now.
The Angels need an out to keep this game tight, at least as tight as they can. It is 4-1 now. Toronto has put up 2 runs in the inning. And Aaron Loop, who has been very effective of late, has not been today. The Angels need an out, down by 3 with the bases loaded.
We got breaking news.
Wall-to-wall breaking news. The Dodgers get Machado.
It's that time of year
They're the best offense.
where teams make their move.
We are the epicenter of the trade deadline.
The 2023 MLB Trade Deadline Special, Tuesday, 1 Eastern.
Loco. Bueno, hay que conmemorar la vaina, loco. Una corona que no la mete. Ay, ay, ay. Me debe una. No había visto una ciudad así tan bonita, ¿no? Wow. Como el estadio ya se ve. Pues para la segunda casa. Dame tu secreto de la vida más que yo me disfruto lo más que yo pueda de mi vida. Salud. La vida más fina.
Buy and manage game tickets, redeem offers, access exclusive content, and much more. Download the MLB Ballpark app today. It's been a rough go for the Angels so far in Toronto. 4-1 loss last night, behind 4-1 again today. A lot of men left on base. And now Jaime Barria will try to strand 3 base runners that he inherits. The base is loaded, and George Springer coming up.
Springer has had a tough day so far, but he's got a lot of power and he's been pretty successful. With the bases loaded, Jaime Barria trying to get back to that good, consistent slider. He might be throwing that quite a bit here to Springer.
Springer has been in an awful slump. He has 1 for his last 33. Not had a hit with a man on base in a while. It's the longest active streak in the majors for being hitless with men on. He has struck out 3 times today. Barria trying to keep this a 3-run game with the bases loaded, faces Springer, who's done a lot of damage in his career against the Angels. Ball 1 from Barria. Springer has hit 28 home runs lifetime against the Halos. He's driven in 71. A lot of that playing time as a member of the Astros, and of course Springer with his power. 7 career grand slams. There's a high fly ball to left. Rengifo backs up. He's under it. And Springer flies out to end the inning. So Barria minimizes the damage as much as he can. And the Blue Jays have a 4-1 lead entering the 8th.
If you love baseball, you need to watch Baseball's show of record, MLB Tonight.
We've got a bunch of games kicking off.
Who gets you ready to start the evening? These guys.
With Harold Reynolds, I'm Adnan Burke. Good to have you with us.
Join Harold and Adnan for a first look at the night's matchups.
Shohei Ohtani. We're going to talk about this guy forever.
First take from the players.
Thanks for joining us, man.
Thanks for having me.
And the first of many breakdowns.
Let's put this in perspective.
Then, as your game night continues, stay tuned for the ultimate late-night baseball party. With live look-ins to the night's biggest moments.
MLB Tonight takes you live inside the park.
The best interviews.
I've never asked a player, do you need a blanket? It is kind of cold out there.
And cutting-edge analysis from TV's best former players fresh off the field.
Get your hands up.
There's nothing quite like MLB Tonight.
That is awesome.
This one takes the cake.
This is going to be a big deal tonight.
Exactly. You can't top that.
MLB Tonight, every night on MLB Network.
What makes baseball even better? Shohei, more action? How about more steals, Acuna? More hits? Nestor? Okay, Mookie, more hits? What if the games are just quicker?
Just a bit outside.
The game has changed, and fans are saying, oh, yeah.
Wake up to baseball's.
What makes baseball even better? Shohei, more action?
The Blue Jays roster, they were hoping to get him some work in the minor leagues, but with a need arising today, Jordan Romano going on the IL, Pearson gets back to the big league team, and see if the Angels can try to bounce back here, down by 3. Trevor Richards worked an inning and a third and struck out all 4 batters that he faced.
Yeah, he's got a power fastball. His fastball about 98 to a slider curveball.
Pearson was a first-round pick back in 2017. Renfroe goes after the first pitch and pops it up. Kirk might have a play, and he makes the catch.
High fastball runs it up there. That was 96 miles an hour. He will still make that play going in that on deck circle.
And 1 out, the batter Escobar. He's 0 for 3. Pearson missed pretty much all of last season, had a lat strain, had mononucleosis. I think we're all going to be sick watching this home plate umpire keep calling these pitches off the plate. It's unreal. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Escobar.
If you're a pitcher today, you're happy as can be. If you're a hitter, it's so difficult.
No doubt. Look down to the bullpen. There's 10 guys warming up trying to get in this game. Third time Escobar has struck out. And there's 2 away. We'll have a quick word from Land Rover. Stepanek gets a pop-up. A couple of first pitch outs for Nate Pearson here in the top of the 8th, sandwiched around a strikeout.
Kids, join MLB Network and your favorite players for a show made just for you. Play ball. It's all the big moments, bat flips, and amazing plays from an exciting week of baseball and tips to up your game on MLB Network. Incredibly brave of Erica yesterday to go out on the ledge at CN Tower yesterday with all those people.
I can't believe she did that.
Yeah, really.
You guys didn't want to join me? It was lonely up there. I was all the way on the other side. You just missed me.
0 chance.
Danny Jansen has a base hit to start the bottom of the 8th. (4-1) Toronto as the Blue Jays try to make it back-to-back wins to start this big series. Big for both teams. And the Angels will desperately need to bounce back. If not in the 9th inning today, then certainly tomorrow in the finale of this series. An early start just after 9 a.m. Pacific time, just after noon here. Alejandro Kirk looks at a strike. It'll be Tyler Anderson tomorrow. And Jose Barrios for Toronto. Angels will turn to Griffin Canning on Monday in Atlanta. Then they'll have Patrick Sandoval come back on 4 days rest to pitch against the Braves Tuesday night. There's a fly ball that Alejandro Kirk keeps fair. It's a 2-run homer, his second of the day. Kirk with only 4 home runs all year entering this one has given the Blue Jays plenty of padding. It is 6-1.
In a couple pitches, he's just been able to keep fair on the inside part or even off the inside part down the left field line. Every time you come in this ballpark, you always think of Joe Carter. Those 2 home runs he's hit right down that left field line to walk off the World Series.
Here's Dalton Varsho batting for Espinal. Blue Jays have hit 3 more home runs today. Hit 3 yesterday as well. Varsho pinch hitting, he'll stay in to play the outfield, and Whit Merrifield will move to second base in the top of the 9th inning, although Toronto's lead continues to extend. 2 in the 5th that gave them the lead, 2 in the 7th, now 2 in the 8th. And the Blue Jays have broken this one open. And without a closer, certainly will take the bigger lead. Varsho has not hit much this year. And he is a great defender. He leads the major leagues in defensive runs saved.
We have some serious depth as far as defensive wise too in the outfield, the Jays.
Yeah, they're a good team, and they're about to be 13 games above 500 if they hold on here. Yeah, they could pass Houston for the 2nd wild card spot in the American League today. So it's possible if the Astros lose that the Angels stay 4 back in the wild card, because Houston would drop down to the 3rd spot. They're hosting the Tampa Bay Rays tonight at Minute Maid Park. Strike 3 to Varsho. And now Kevin Kiermaier will be the batter. Toronto has been the best team in baseball when they're not playing their own division. Entering today 51-26 in games outside the AL East. They've played their division. They've gone 7-20. They have not won a game against Boston all year. Going 0-7 against the Red Sox and 7-13 against the others.
Still amazed how well Boston has played this season. People coming into the season thought they would be the team and probably be struggling to get over 500. They've been really, really good.
What their trade deadline will look like. You know, they dealt Kike Hernandez to the Dodgers. As Kiermaier flips one off the end of his bat, caught by a running Renfroe. There's 2 down here in the 8th. Well, it doesn't really mean the Red Sox are going to be sellers at the trade deadline. Hernandez filling a better role for the Dodgers, returning to where he had been. And he was for Boston, but doesn't slow the Red Sox down at all, really. Tristan Casas has been swinging the bat well since the All-Star break, and the Red Sox keep winning. They've gone 8-4 since the break, behind the Angels and the Cubs for the best records in baseball since the break. The Angels are 9-4 since the break.
Yep.
And they need more. They fell into a big hole after all the losses leading into the All-Star break, so it's helped them that they've played well since. They've got to continue it. 1 more game here in Toronto tomorrow, then 3 in Atlanta. That's not going to be easy, even with the Braves struggling a bit lately. Atlanta He's had a tough time with their pitching staff of late.
Still a comfortable 10-game lead in the NL East.
60 out of your first 90, that helps.
That helps out.
The Phillies have pitter-pattered their way. Well, the Marlins had a good start, and they've fallen back in the second half. The Mets have never really gotten going, so the Braves have had comfort in that division. There's a base hit for Merrifield, his second today and his fifth already in this series.
It's so interesting to see where the Mets are at this point. Has become sellers at the trade deadline. It's real surprising considering what they were expected of them coming into the season. Marlins are a big-time story. They play very, very well. They really discount the Braves too, making some sort of a move too before the deadline.
They already added a couple of relievers to their bullpen. Seems like they do that every year. They got Pierce Johnson from Colorado, Taylor Hearn from Texas recently. Imagine they would have a bigger move up their sleeve if they think they need it. Here's a foul out to Moustakas, which takes us to the ninth. Another home run from Alejandro Kirk gives the Blue Jays some space.
Sunday, from Atlanta's truest park, a diverse roster of high school players look to take their game to the next level. The Hank Aaron Invitational Showcase Game, powered by the MLB MLBPA Youth Development Foundation. Sunday at 8 Eastern on MLB Network.
Loco. Bueno, hay que conmemorar la vaina, loco. Una corona que no la mete. Ay, ay, ay. Me debe una. No había visto una ciudad así tan bonita, ¿no? Wow. El estadio ya se ve. Pues para la segunda casa. Dame tu secreto de la vida más bien. Yo me disfruto lo más que yo pueda de mi vida. Salud. La vida más fina.
Two so far in this series. Really on the Angels front, they have left 22 men on base so far in this series. They have left the bases loaded 5 times, and they have not had a hit with a man in scoring position, so they have struggled to score. And as we've gotten into the later innings here, this game has gotten away from them. Aaron Loop allowed 2 runs in the 7th. Jaime Maria coughing up 2 in the 8th inning. Now it's Mitch White on the mound for Toronto. At least that's what our graphic says, but I think this is not White. This is Jimmy Garcia, who was able to get the save yesterday. Garcia replaced Romano, who was ailing in the 9th inning yesterday. Romano on the IL today. Garcia ended up with the save, so there's the numbers for Garcia, the former Dodger, as he gets an opportunity to record the last 3 outs today after the Kirk home run, after Kirk's second home run. Garcia now does not have a save try. Here's Luis Rengifo leading off the top of the 9th, followed by Shohei and then Mickey Moniak. First pitch swinging, and Rengifo has a base hit up the gap in right center field. Kiermaier cuts it off. A 5-run game. Rengifo won't test it. He has his second hit. 3rd time he's gotten on base.
Going back to Hyundai Key for the game today, close to the heart, looking for something close to the heart of the plate against Shohei Ohtani, who's been walked a few times here today and hit by a pitch in a rocket double.
Shohei sitting on 39 home runs.
Another extra base hit with his 17th double, along with 7 triples, 39 home runs, 63 extra base hits. Shohei calling the timeout there on that changeup, that borderline pitch called.
A ball, 1 strike on Shohei. Actually, it was 1 and 2, and that's strike 3.
I mean, you call a changeup, borderline down and in, and then a backdoor slider that's off the plate to strike.
We saw the umpire scorecard for Mike Estabrook last night. Very curious about how this one will look today. Mickey Moniak's hitting streak on the line. He's 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts and a walk. An 18-game hitting streak, the longest in the majors. Last hitting streak by an Angel that was longer was when David Fletcher had his 26-game hitting streak in 2021. I think he's just been missing fastballs all over the place today. It's this one towards center field pretty well. Kiermaier is back, sizing it up near the wall. He makes a back-footed leaping catch. Moniak's hitting streak comes to an end with the second out here in the top of the 9th.
It hit well there by Moniak, just a little short of the wall.
So now the batter is Cabbage. He'll pinch it for Velasquez.
Yeah, just shy of the wall. Kiermaier getting back to it.
We got the last game of the series tomorrow morning on Peacock. Joe Siddle, who's with you? Who's doing play-by-play tomorrow?
Brendan Burke.
Brendan Burke. So Brendan Burke, Joe Siddle, and Gooby on Peacock tomorrow. We'll be back on Bally Sports West Monday night in Atlanta. Cabot strikes out to end it. The Blue Jays have won the first 2 in this series, and the Angels will be in desperate need of a victory tomorrow to wrap up this series.
Tough one here today. It was a real good pitching matchup coming in as far as Alek Manoah throwing the ball well and Reid Detmers, but some power later. Geddy Lee in the house for the Jays. They win that one 6-1.
Good birthday present for Geddy Lee as he turned 70 today. Our Toyota player of the game, the catcher Alejandro Kirk. A couple of home runs late to put this one out of sight. He drove in 3, scored 3. And the Blue Jays beat the Angels today 6-1 here at Rogers Center.
Got to find a way to win that one tomorrow. Tyler Anderson on the bump. That changeup has been really good of late.
For Mark Ubazan, Erica Weston, I'm Wayne Randazzo. As we say so long from Toronto, the Blue Jays beat the Angels 6-1. Angels live postgame is next.
This